All right, let's start. Post-Namm clarity. We are a week removed, a little bit over a week removed from Nam. How y'all feeling about it? You know what I'm saying? Now that you done kind of got back and kind of sat with what you saw out there, what you dealt with out there, man. Like, how y'all feeling? What you think,
It was a
Sheriden?
waste of
I'll let
time. I shouldn't have went.
you
I'm just playing. I'm joking.
Nah,
I'm
seriously
joking.
though.
Inside joke. Nah, it Nam was cool. Nam was cool. I think Nam is different for us. Yeah, excuse me. These in-ears making my ears itch a little bit.
That's
Um,
fine.
but Nam was cool. It was a good experience. It was a little different because I hadn't planned on going until a week before, so I didn't really have an agenda planned out
Yeah.
until we got right into that crunch time. But that was almost better, just because having been to Nam before, I kind of knew the lay of the land. A lot of
Hmm.
the vendors stay pretty much in the general same area, so you can pretty much get to them quick. Roland was in the same spot pretty much as they were last year. Then you have Nord, of course. I mean, the two main staples, Roland and Nord,
Hmm.
for me. Um, and they were pretty much in the same spot. But I'll I guess I'll start here and say the best part about Nam was definitely seeing the family. I was going to say the bros, but it's not just guys.
Yeah.
Seeing the family out there, and meeting new people, because a lot of people. I know there are people who were talking about people who were grand. I didn't experience that, and I'm
Yeah.
glad not to say anything against what they said, but I didn't personally experience that. Um, we had a lot of nice people that we communicated with, in a
Hmm.
lot of scenario situations. Now there were some instrument hogs that shall remain nameless. I mean, you know, maybe later on in the conversation we'll let Kenny
Talk about the instrument
I
hog.
actually have
give
no
his two
clue.
cent on
I
that.
have no clue who you're talking
But
about.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'll text you.
No,
But
I mean
one
yeah,
in
you got to text
particular.
me because you're
One in
telling me something
particular.
new.
Yeah. Nah, one in particular.
Okay.
But
That's funny.
somebody who you said was getting on your nerves, and that'll probably help you remember. But other than that, it was cool to see even the same usual stuff, and the new additions, and that's
Yeah.
ADDITIONS, not editions, but additions
Right.
to the lineups, and the new additions like the Nord Electro 7. The thing about that, which we'll probably get into specific talk later, but it turned out to be a little bit more than I expected, but still
Yeah.
underwhelming. So, but yeah, it was good to get hands on. Good to see my people. Shout out to my brother Marcus Hodge. Good to see you, family. I literally had just told him that I wasn't going, and then decided to go at the
That's
last
funny.
minute.
I had a couple of friends
But
that
so
said that my dude Brian Williams we did him dirty. He said we did him
yeah,
dirty too because
yeah,
we said we weren't going, and then we decided.
yeah,
And he was like, "Man, y'all some bums." I was like, "Yeah, my
yeah.
bad, bro." I
That's
was like, "We
funny.
showed talked it down and said
Yeah,
we weren't going this year, and then like literally pulled the trigger." We got Kenny to thank
yeah.
for that. Kenny
It
said,
was.
"You know what, fellas, we gotta go." So
We'll
I was
talk
like, "All
about
right,
that in a minute. We gonna get to Kenny. I'm just playing.
that's funny."
But no, all in all, Mike Burrell, Bennett, Pace Singer, good to see y'all. Danny Weatherspoon, good to see him doing hosting Nord for the 5th year. Good to see him doing that. Glenn Gibson, you get on my nerves, man. Get off the internet.
That's
Uh,
funny.
my dude, Anton Nesbitt. I mean, I could go down the line and call
Yeah,
all the names of a lot of my friends, the people who I had admired and saw there and got to meet there. It was a good experience. It was cool. Gear
that,
wise, it was what I expected. Definitely what
yeah,
I expected for
yeah.
sure.
There really wasn't much. What you got, Kenny? Post-Namm clarity. What you got?
Uh, Now was actually pretty good, man. I have no complaints at all. I wasn't underwhelmed. I wasn't overwhelmed. I think I came there with the mindset to do what we came to do, and we got that done.
Yeah.
And I think so. I didn't have expectations on hanging out, and if somebody was being grand, I missed it. I was so zoned in on what I was trying to get accomplished that I didn't have time to experience the grandness. Like even
That's how I feel.
some of the guys. who is top tier musicians, I spoke and kept it moving because I had my own agenda. Like my agenda was not to meet another musician, not to
Mm,
shake another musician hand, and not to bro somebody to death. My agenda was to get out there, shake hands with companies, have conversations. Shout out to Roland, like,
yeah.
and
Ed Diaz
again,
Yeah, I
is
was
in
shout
the
just
out
about
room.
to
to
Shout
say.
out
Ed.
Ed.
Yeah, I was just about to say
Dang,
Ed's in the
Sheridan.
chat. What
Dang,
up,
Sheridan,
Ed?
you gonna let me y'all gonna let me finish or no?
My
Y'all gonna
bad.
let
You know, we
me
fan
y'all
out
Nope.
real quick. No, I'm
right,
just
Nope.
joking.
dang, y'all.
Nope. No, you
Yeah,
wanna
so
what'd you say?
Ed is
What'd
the
you say when
homie.
we
We
was
got to
live?
say what's up to Ed.
You wanna talk
all
to
right,
him.
all right, all
You gonna
right.
get
You see,
interrupted.
you want me, but you want me to stay on the straight and narrow. Then when I start talking crazy, you be ready to text and pray. No, but no, but no, shout out. I didn't even know Ed was in there, but no, shout out to Ed. It was good to meet him. He actually he did more than he know that he did as far as us even having the the platform to get in and do what we was gonna do.
Yeah,
So shout out to Ed. That was pretty cool. Shout out to the people over at Roland that even that he worked with. Like he was Ed was not acting like he was as busy as he was. When I got there, Ed was swamped and he still took time to make sure that we was all right. So shout out
absolutely.
to them. Shout out to JBL. JBL looked out too.
They did.
JBL looked out in a crazy way. So shout out to them. But for the most part, amazing talent. The musicians was now I'm gonna say something, and this is gonna piss y'all off, but I'm gonna say it
Uh-oh.
anyway. You know what pissed me off the most? The
What's that?
ushers at Juicy Ears, the
The
guys
ushers.
who had on the brown jackets and they was walking around like they was security at Juicy Ears. Everybody get on the get on. I'm not about to be bumping body parts with other musicians
That
because
part.
y'all want to have. I'm look. I'm keeping it PG as long as I
Thank you,
can.
brother.
Okay.
Thank you, brother. Bless you.
But
Bless you that.
I will tell you that that was probably the only thing that was kind of like a little weird. But Juicy Ears had a lot going on. They had a large crowd,
They
so
did.
I understand. But those musicians was acting real like, who the F are you? Because you got me effed up. And I'm only saying the alphabet because
Hey man.
they don't want me cussing. But you got me effed
Fine.
up if you come behind me and whisper in my ear, everybody move, everybody. Get your goofy. Like, get away from me. I don't like that. I did not like that. That pissed me off. But shout out to the people over at Hammond. They was really, really attentive. They was really like really just hands-on. They was trying to make sure that we walked away knowing what we know. And the people at Viscount was attentive too.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. Nord, not so much.
Yeah,
I
Nord
didn't
Nord
get
was
a
just
whole
kind of
lot
busy.
of
Now I got a
interaction
chance
with
to
them.
talk. I talked with a couple of the Nord employees. I got a couple of interviews up on the channel with them. So they were pretty husky. I think you just had to catch them at the right moment because you know one thing about the Nord booth, it's Nord and Juicy was busy this year. Like both of them booths like
Hmm.
were really lit when it came to like the performances and the crowd, the overall musician crowd. It seemed like that's where the draw was and where everybody was kind of posted up and hanging out or what have you. But it was a cool vibe, like you
Yeah.
said. It was a dope vibe out there. I think because we have because all the three of us we have the benefit of having went like for me this is my seventh NAM, and
Hmm.
I've been to NAM not just as the guy who just the regular smuggler just walking through, tapping in with people, but I've also been on the exhibitor side and actually had a booth a couple of times at NAM. So I've been blessed to have the perspective of both sides of the coin on that. So I think it takes for granted for us, it's underwhelming, right? Because we've
Hmm.
been to like several of these and we kind of know the movies. Like you said, Stevie Wonder will just walk by you at any given second, or
Yeah.
like your favorite musician from this person, or the guy that plays for this, or the guy that's on tour with this, or such and such MD just walks by, your favorite drummer, and it's just normal. You know what I'm saying? To us, we're just like, oh, okay, it is what it is. But I did run into several people who that like this was their first year, and they were just like,
Hmm.
because
Hmm. Hmm.
Nam virginity is a thing. Like Nam,
Yeah,
yeah,
it is. No, it is.
being a Nam
100%.
virgin is a thing, and so if you've never experienced it, um, it's a thing. And when you walk in for the first time and you get to see like everything and everybody and all of the stuff, it's a literal mind f. The first time that you experience it. And so once you kind of
Yeah.
came on the other side of it, once you came again and had another um, two or three
Josh,
goes
should
at
we
it.
pause what you
I
saying? You
know I
talking
was
about
trying to
virginity
like,
and coming all.
oh Lord
I'm
have
gonna
mercy.
pause that. I'm gonna just throw that pause in there. Once you
All right,
came and kept
pause.
coming.
Pause, double pause the whole stream. Lord have mercy. I felt
Okay, go
myself going
crazy.
down the stream, down the train. I was like, as I was hearing it, I'm like, Kenny about to get me, bro. Like, God, dog it.
I wasn't even gonna say that until you
No,
said
you
that. You
would. I saw
came
the
and
cheese.
came and came.
I saw the cheese. I saw the teeth, bro. I saw the teeth, and I was like, he
Okay.
he he about to go
Hey,
for
that's a trigger for me, bro. That's a trigger.
it.
That is a trigger.
Oh no 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 no.
I
Okay
will,
okay, hold it.
I
Okay
will,
okay.
I will
My
end this
bad.
whole live. That is a
Dum
No, no,
dum
trigger.
no, 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 no,
dum.
no, 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 no,
But no,
no, no, no, no, no, no, no,
but
no,
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 no.
no. Hold on. I want to segue there because I'm not going to. I'm gonna be very understanding and I'm gonna be very clear. Um, this is what I will say. When you never know who you are coming in contact with, so
Yeah,
customer service is top tier
yeah,
and always top tier, and it doesn't matter. Like, we all have several different um platforms where we have to deal with people,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
so when you dealing with people, it's it's okay to just be nice with no motive.
no motives. Yeah, professionalism always. Yeah,
I could really walk around and be like, I'm him, right? If I wanted to. But I decide and make a choice every day not to just be like a humble person, but to be like,
yeah.
it's not that serious,
Right,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. No, for real.
so, but and so then but when you experience that with a certain level of racism, it gets a little weird. And so what I would admonish these companies to do is just make sure that the persons that you're putting out in front, make sure that they like black people.
Mm.
That's all. And
That's a
I'll leave
good.
it at
That's a
Hey,
that.
good.
no,
That's a
that's
good way
real.
to put it. That's real. And so
That's
that's
real.
something. That's something to think about and to talk about. Like out in the overall experience of Nam, you have that because it's an exchange between both companies and constituents. People, all of us that are like just there for the show.
Hmm.
And then there are people that we acknowledge on both sides. There, of course, there are thirsty musicians. There are thirsty people that are pulling up on the booths like trying to just endorsement hogs, trying to see what they can get.
Hmm.
But on the other side, there are companies as well that are looking to connect with musicians, you know what I'm saying? And there's proper connection, there's a proper way to communicate that across the board. So I think if for those who haven't been to NAM, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying this
Yeah.
as a kind of a step up of like when it's situational awareness always. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You don't want to pull up on a company being thirsty or acting thirsty or sending off signals, nor should the you expect when you walk into a booth for you to be treated like you're like some thirsty musician either. You know what I mean? Like it should be a fair and I
Or like
experience
you were,
yeah.
yeah, or like you're a nobody.
Or like you're nobody.
Because
Yeah.
again,
You never know who
yeah,
you're
I
talking
mean,
to.
again, you don't know who you talking to, and the crazy part is like, I wish, I'm not gonna say because what I was gonna say next is kind of rude, but I wish like Nam had like secret shoppers. Oh, that's a better way to put it
That's a
because
good
I
way
was
to
gonna
put
go
it.
far left.
Yeah.
I was gonna go crazy. I wish
Yeah.
Nam had like secret shoppers, and then like these companies get penalized for not being, because that relation, you never know when you build in a relationship what that entails. Everybody don't. I want to say this, and are we past 5 minutes? Sheridan, I got two cuss words, and it ain't gonna be the vulgar ones. Okay.
Go ahead. Keep
First
it
cuss
PG
word
13.
is I don't give a rat's ass about endorsement. I don't
Yeah.
want one. I don't need one. I'm not looking for one. All right.
Yeah.
Very clear. All right.
Yeah.
It's not, but I would love to collab with companies because what we do, we review stuff, we talk about
Absolutely.
our experience with the stuff, we talk about how things can become better. So I'd rather a collaboration than I would an endorsement because an endorsement of any sort can be similar to being a company's slave. I'll use that
Hmm.
instead of the other word. And so I would rather be I would rather be a collaborator
Yeah.
and work with you to help the experience become better from not just a consumer standpoint, but from an actual musician, somebody who actually used the products. This is why I don't go looking for endorsements. I always would rather collab with companies. And so to not
That's
go
a good
down that
perspective.
rabbit trail and slip up, I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it
Yeah,
at
but
that.
that's
So
a good
let me
point.
say
Go ahead,
this.
Sheridan.
Let me say this on that point. Couple things. Of course, I always go to the Bible. Be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. You know, Bible foundation. Um, but it's also a psychological break when somebody is not nice to you and you're nice to them. So even with those people who get those thirsty musicians, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to, you're not required to teach them in that moment. But what if you could say a sentence that gives them a different perspective? Why
Mm-hmm.
not? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But there are too many nice companies out there, and not just because he's on the stream with us on the live with us, but dog, I've known Ed Diaz for 1 year.
Yeah.
I met him
Mhm.
officially at NAM last year. I've known of Ed Diaz for the better part of what, 15, 20,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, he's
because
been
Mhm.
killing the
he's
game.
been a staple for that company. So for Ed, even just like you said, like Ed was super busy the entire time and you could see it, but Ed never let us know that he was too busy for us. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He
That's right.
came out, he talked
Absolutely.
to us, he chopped it
Yeah.
up with us more than one time. So, you know, you never know who you are in front of and you never know who they're connected to. It's
Yeah.
cool if you know artists, but because the 9 times out of 10, the people that you talking to know artists too. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And
work
it's
work
like you
with
said.
artists and
I
all of
think
that
we
stuff.
was when
And
we was when we was. Go ahead.
reflective.
Yeah.
It's reflective in how you treat people. I'll go as far as to say, my main tour act, the company that I tour with, the artist that I tour with, um, sets the stage for being nice to people. I've seen this person in a lot of environments and environments to where you could really just like shut down or and it hasn't happened. And not saying that people are perfect because people are just the opposite of that. But when you get in the habit of treating people correctly instead of just tolerating people, because that's what it was, Kenny, tolerating people that you think you can get business from rather than treating them nice. And the way that you treat people speaks to what's inside of you. It doesn't say any more about the person that you're treating, even if they being nasty to you. You know what I'm saying? Now there's a point to where
Yeah.
you can defend yourself, but we're not talking about those circumstances. We're talking about
Absolutely.
customer service, as you put it, Kenny.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, yeah. Customer
you
service.
have to have the right approach when you're dealing with people. And if it's a point to where you just need to take a deep breath because you've been dealing with people and it's just difficult, take a deep breath, take a beat, take a break, come on back. But don't mistreat people.
Yeah. And I
Just
can
saying.
Yeah,
speak
but
speak to.
when you go out to prove a point, when you go out your way to prove a point,
Mm,
that's why I got a problem with it. Because that wasn't that interaction was point proven. And once the question was asked, who are you? And when they saw my badge and they saw all of that, who are you and who do you come highly elevated in this company? Are
mm.
you top of the food chain? They was thirsty before. You get what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
Mike. Go ahead.
You good. I was just gonna
Yes,
say, like,
thank you.
I understand that, and I can speak to it from both the again just the regular guy walking around NAM and the exhibitor, because I've been on both sides, and you see tens because NAM and now it definitely is popping, but it was popping pre-COVID. I think somebody said that earlier in the comment, but it's still popping. You still see tens of thousands of people over the course of that
Oh,
week
absolutely.
that are coming through your booth, and remember we was there like after a couple of hours there, you just from talking to people you hoarse. But like you said, that extra, like Ed said earlier, that extra space of just being nice, because I I don't know people like that. I know people, I know who I know, but I don't know everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be like somebody that'll pop up, and that's such and such, he been on tour with so and so for 20 years. And I'm like, I didn't know that. That's wild. But like you said, the standpoint is you learn to be nice to people and do unto others as you would have them do to you. That's just the golden rule, even if you don't read the Bible. You know what I'm saying? You treat people the way you want to be treated, and you make sure that, because you never know. Because I run into people that say, I was watching a pod earlier, and it was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and he said that out of all of the records and all of the stuff that he's done, he said the thing that he wants to be known for is that was just a nice guy. I'm just a nice guy. And he
Yeah.
said that's what got him the Michael Jackson gig. Somebody called him and they said, hey, have you ever worked with Jimmy Jam? Oh, yeah, that's a nice guy. That got him in the door. So it's like the same principle that comes with companies interacting with people that come by their situation or reach out or whatever the case may be, whether it's at NAM or after NAM. Like it just pays to be nice. Now, from the musician side, from our side, it's the same game. You have to learn how to approach companies, and it's not always about trying to exert who you are. As Kenny said, you don't have to do that. Your resume and who you are and your aura and your persona of who you are like exudes when you come in somebody's presence. And if you just leave that mark, because again, they see tens of thousands of people throughout the course of that week. Your objective is, I'm not trying to tell people who I am and show forth like I'm da 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 that does do that went with so and so so and so so and so. It's not just be a nice dude, just be rememberable. Leave them their information, follow back up with them after NAM. Hey, like I literally did, even as what I did, I followed up with a bunch of people after NAM just the other day. Give it about a week. Hey man, hey man, it was a pleasure meeting you at NAM last week. Da 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 da. Would love to connect on yada yin yang. Appreciate you, da 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 da. And then you'll be surprised. They'll go look at your socials afterwards, and they'll be like, "Oh snap, yo, this is so and so from such and such." That's
Yeah.
that's a proper interaction across the point. And then Ed just said NAM is a tough place to try to get an endorsement, and that's the point. Like you don't want to pull up like even our interaction. We could take even our interaction with Ed last year. Like that was we filmed it, but that was a totally organic interaction we had. And you can go check the video on the channel if you just type V stage. John Mike V stage, you'll see this video, it pops up. But we had a totally organic interaction with him. We didn't pull up to the board like, hey man, like I'm John Mike, yo, can you give me this board? Can you run this to me? Here's my address, here's da 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 da. No, we was just cool dudes. And you know what happened? Ed reached out afterwards. And what you're looking at right here is the V stage that Roland sent as a result of that conversation. You know
And
what
can
I'm
I
saying?
speak to another part of that,
Go ahead.
John? The
Yeah.
other part of that is you can't come up there to them, talking to them about what you want, what you deserve, what you need with nothing to offer.
That part.
At the very least, know your stuff. The reason why Ed and I and John and even Kenny are able to engage is because we know things about these boards. Maybe not Kenny as much because he knows Nord. He knows Nord for sure.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
See, Sharon,
on the technical,
that's why I be cussing, man. You be throwing little jabs in, and then
no,
when I
because you
say
said it.
stuff,
You say it.
when I
You
cuss,
say it
no, no,
though. You
Nick,
go
hey,
to the
just
last stream.
finish your dialogue without taking a jab. Because if I say something, then you're gonna be like,
Here we go. All right,
visual. You
whatever.
need a visual.
Well, I'll speak for myself then. I won't speak for John or Kenny. How about
Yeah,
that? The
yeah,
reason
don't
why
speak
I
for
can
me,
have a
nigga.
conversation with these guys is because I know my stuff. I've done the work to learn these boards. Do I know everything about the boards? Absolutely not. There are people who know eons beyond what I know, but guess what I'm trying to do? Learn from them. I'm
There you go.
going through situations and taking even courses to learn more about my craft, learn more about these boards. Because the thing about it is you can hop in your car and drive home probably with your eyes closed if you've lived there longer than 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
The reason being is because you've done it so much. So, and that's the same thing with the boards. If you do things on these boards beyond just playing and changing the release, small jab, but just playing and changing the release, then you'll learn more
Hey,
about the
hey,
board,
hey,
dig into
hey,
the board,
hey,
and
say who
even
you talking to, because you ain't talking to me. I don't be playing with the
I definitely
releases.
ain't
I
talking.
told us, bro.
Did I say Kenny?
But
I would have said
you
Kenny
got
if
to
I was
make it
talking to
clear.
you. I
You
was
said a
not
small
talking to you,
jab.
Kenny. I
You
would.
said a small
I
jab.
wasn't
I know you
talking to
weren't
you.
talking to me, but
That
you
was for
let
the
them know
people
who you
who
talking
do
to.
change.
All right,
it
all
was
right,
it was
all
for the
right.
people who change the release. Hey man, chill out over there. Um,
I
but
just want you to
but
He
say it.
get
I just
into
want you to
these
say that.
he ready
boards
to
and
pop.
learn
He
these
ready to pop
boards.
off.
Get into these boards and learn these boards so that you can get on the board, and it's not going to take you 10 years in a Google search to find out what it is that you need to do, and tap in with people like me. I have a consultation service, unshameless plug. Hit me up on
Not.
Instagram. The link tree, I just posted the link tree in on Facebook. Hit me up. I will walk you through, especially this baby right here. This is my prize right here. Like, I know this board like the back of my hand, and if it's something that I don't know about it, I'll either figure it out or I'll call Ed. So just lock in and
All right.
learn the
So look, hold
boards.
on. Let me say this though. Also, if you are just being regular, right? I get it. I do agree with Sheridan. I'm not disagreeing. So I'm not finna
Yeah,
say nothing that's no jab or anything. I do agree that you should know your boards, know your stuff. But then this is where I would be a little bit indifferent, because when we go to places like NAMM, a major trade show, we want to see what's next. We want to see what's new.
exactly.
So 9 times out of 10, if they're coming out with new equipment and new systems and all that, you might not know the stuff. But that does not mean that you can't just go and inquire, go listen.
Mm,
Basically, half of them is walking past people, and the other half is workshops happening at the
For sure.
same time. And then like a small portion of it is the best musicians that can be slapped together in a gumbo, just playing on for these companies, right?
yeah, for real, for
But
real, for
if
real.
you stop long enough to just talk to the people with the shirts on, I call them the
Yeah,
people with the shirts, you will learn so much just about. I mean, because it is what it is. If you stop and talk to
Mhm.
the people who got them shirts on, they can give you information and insight on things that you don't
absolutely,
know.
And
absolutely. That's
mind
how
you,
I
I'm not
picked up.
saying that
Yeah,
everybody that comes to NAM needs to know everything about everything that they're looking at, because it's like you said, Kitty, that's the purpose for some people to come. But I'm saying, if you are saying, "Hey, I need this," or "I want this," or "I need this," or
yeah.
let's
Make
make a
sure you know your
deal, let's
stuff.
make a partnership, you have to have something to offer them, or else it's a lopsided agreement. And you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying, all you
Absolutely.
working for is a free something or something
yeah.
at a discount
Companies
that you
aren't
ain't even
looking to
gonna
do that.
support.
Companies aren't looking
Yeah.
to. And I can speak as a company owner. I know Kenny is the same way. Company, all of us, company owners, we're not looking to give out product or things just for the love or just for the hate. The hey whatever of it. You know what I'm saying? It's strategic. Everything is strategic. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's a value. It's what I call vet. It's a value exchange transaction. We are vetting each other. What is the value that we exchange? Okay, your value is you want the gear, you want a free this, you want a free that. So how you get a free V stage is not because I'm just such a good guy and I walked up to the board and me and Ed had a dope conversation, all of which happened. But this is the results of years of credibility building, years of grinding it out, years of building the brand, building the name. And even with that credibility that I offer, I don't walk into the conversation saying, this is who I am and this is what I bring to the table. Expect the other person on the other side to understand the value that I bring because it's an exchange. You got to know that I'm bringing value to the table. It's being, I guess Kenny dropped out. It's being hungry, not thirsty. That's my whole vibe on it. Be hungry, but don't be thirsty. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Kenny dropped out.
And
He'll be back, I'm
can
sure.
I say this? I think the internet got weird
There you
real
go.
quick.
Now he's
Can I
back.
say
Yeah.
this though? Is the thing about it is, and Ed can confirm this because he's here. We didn't go to Ed and ask him for anything. The
No.
only thing that we were talking to Ed about, our initial conversation was, does the V stage have this? Does it have that? Can it do this? Can it do that? Like John said, tap in with John's video The recap, I'm on there. John is on there. I think a couple of other people are on there talking to Ed. And even with me and Ed, it's kind of like a back and forth banter. And I'm playing the devil's advocate for
Hmm.
another keyboard brand
That's
for
funny.
Nord. Um, but it's not because I like Nord more than Roland, because if you know me, you know better. It's because I wanted to know what the V stage has, and I know Ed is passionate about this product, and he knows, if you know Ed, he gonna know everything about that doggone board. So it wasn't us coming to Ed, hey Ed, we have so much value to offer this board. Can you send us some boards? Nah, it was having a conversation with them. And the conversation furthered as to, hey, I think this would go over a lot better on this board. I think you guys should consider this. You should consider that. And part of the conversation was like, yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Part of the
Hmm.
conversation is, you know what, that's a good idea. Let me bring that back to them and see what they say. But the point being is, with this endorsement conversation, it's having a relationship, right? It's establishing a relationship with the company, and we can walk away from Roland, and I'll talk about my in-ear company. I'll plug them right now because they're a great in-ear company, Bellows Audio. They make custom in-ears, but they make them with the universal tip, so it locks in that seal. Now I went to them, and I, matter of fact, I got turned on to them by a friend. He gave me the number to the owner and gave him a call. I said, hey man, I'm looking for in-ears, absolute truth. Um, and here's what I need. Can I come in and check out your product? Came to the office, checked out the product. We talked about some things that I had done. We talked about what I needed, and they offered me a deal. So I've been with that company for now maybe a couple of years. But it's never me going to them saying, "Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that for free," and they're not free.
Hmm.
Um, but it's establishing a relationship. I was in Africa and broke these literal ears, and of course, and the reason why I bring it, I speak on Africa is because I'm so far away. I'm only there for 2 weeks, and I'm so far away from the mainland that they can't ship me nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I made them work for what it was. But as soon as I got back, it was that same night he hit me up. Time difference, but same night he hit me up. He was like, "Hey man, send them here. We'll get them fixed as fast as possible." Such and such and so on, and they lived up to their word. It's establishing a relationship with the company that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's value. So I think that's a dope situation. I do want to talk about like because I think that that lanes us up on like endorsements and what it's like, the overall experience of now, but actually the boards and stuff that we experience now being like a week removed. Um, and having time to really think through, like, because in our world, in the keyboard world, like we didn't really see much this year. I mean, like Nord pulled up with the Electro. We had the whole pitch bend gate that happened. They pulled up and said, here it is. We said, nah, that ain't it. They said, all right, we hear you. And then they fixed it. Then we went out to NAM, we didn't see it, but that's a whole nother thing. That they're gonna ship it, in the ship units. So the demo units that they had already made up for NAM didn't have the pitch bend on it, so we couldn't really mess around on that. But going out there and actually putting hands on the board, playing on the Kawhi keyboard, you're like, okay, this feels good. This is dope. Um, that whole that whole vibrato button, no matter what, even with the pitch, that's still not it. I ain't feeling that. The organ on it is still cool. I still think it's a solid package on that side. And then I know we had Viscount that released something with the Legend, like a modular situation with that. Hammond dropped the big boy on the XK7 and the XK7D. We had Studio Logic in the building with their joint. Um,
That
and then,
Normax, yeah.
yeah, then we had the Yamaha Modi X. Of course, they came out a few months before them. So it really wasn't too much popping on that side of things, but there still was some winners and some different things like that. I love what impressed me this year was Studio Logic, the and the Electro. Those are the two things that impressed me the most, that I got the most airtime with, so to speak. What about you guys?
So for me, Studio Logic, I'm not an electro guy, so I'm just gonna sit that conversation out. I did put my hands on it. No, I mean, I'm just being honest. I put my hands on it. I was able to. I was able to say what people was going to say prior to them saying it.
Which is
If they want a stage four compact, that's what they get for that price point, with more options, more playability, and
but you didn't like the key
more
bed,
functionality.
the new key bed that they put in it,
John,
because that's better
John,
than
stop trying to,
the
John.
stage.
Don't,
That's
John.
better than
Don't
the
try to sell
compact.
me, bro. I, I
I ain't
said what I
trying to sell
said.
you. I'm talking to
It's
the like
you.
the people
No,
that's on
you
the stream.
look. You said you were like you want the
But
key
I asked
bed?
a
No, I don't want
question.
that key
I'm
bed.
asking a question.
No, I'm being honest. No, I'm being honest. I'm not an electro guy, so it was nothing that the electro could have done differently that would have made me be like, this is the board. The
You
price
already
point.
wrote
If
it
they would have
off.
changed the price point, John, not yeah, because the price point is that of a main 88 key. Like that's the same price as the V stage
Mm,
88. That's the same
mm,
price, a couple $100 off. You getting a Yamaha M8X.
true.
I'm not paying that much money for a subpar keyboard with a good keyboard in it. Great keyboard, John. I like the keyboard, and I know you, I know you like the push feature for you to be able to go to your
The vibrato.
program mode.
No, not the
No, you don't
vibrato.
like the Bravo. No,
No, I like the
Category
categories.
vote.
The categories
yeah,
is dope.
yeah.
You ain't gonna
Hey,
give me the
John.
category.
Hey,
They ain't
John.
got that. Hey, come on, cheese.
Hoo, hoo, hoo. I
Come
no,
on, bro.
but what I will tell you is this. Okay, okay. It's a subpar keyboard. It's a subpar keyboard for the price point. It's a subpar
He is
keyboard.
really tickled.
But what stood out to me, and where you can't convince me otherwise. I played them both, not with that nine. What is it? 991 or 911 or whatever that is. I put that
911
in
is
the
crazy.
trash.
Boo.
Put put that 330 in the trash. But that 142L
Yeah.
is the truth.
Okay.
That Hammond XK7D is the truth coming through the right Leslie.
But you
All
spending
right.
7,500
That
bucks for it just for the organ
I will
itself.
spend I will spend $14,000 if
Because
that's
that's
what
what
it
you're gonna
costs.
spend. You're
Because
gonna spend that much with you when you get it when you accessorize it all the way out.
when I'm done with it, y'all gonna be like, dang, that organ sounds great. That organ in real time, I could not I could not tell the difference between that and my B3 one combo behind me. I could not
Interesting.
tell the difference. It
But
was
I heard
that
varying reports.
warm,
I talked
the
to a couple of
highs
cats that said
wasn't
it wasn't that
tinky.
good.
Yeah, because the guy who you talked to was playing that one through that 330 Leslie, that
Gotcha.
BS. That was that solid state Leslie is trash. I can't hold
Yeah.
you on that. That
Yeah.
solid state Leslie is not the Leslie for that. But that one that they had Jimmy Smith playing through, that they had
Mm,
the Korean guy, and that they had the one that
that
they
was
kept
killing.
going to was the reason why they kept going to that organ. When I got a
Well,
chance to sit on that particular organ, I said, okay, okay,
well, Kenny,
okay. Last
you
point.
told me because you told me. Let me interrupt you right there. You told me because I played the one on the end, and you was like, man, that XK7 is killing this, that, and the third, and I'm just like, it's cool, but
Hmm.
it's not killing. You was like, which one did you
No,
play?
I
I said
told
I played the
Sheriden,
one on the end.
yeah, don't play
And
that
he
one.
was
That's
like, play the one in the middle. I'm
okay.
like, okay, I don't know how it's gonna make a difference, but I ended up playing the one in the middle, and it's actually on you. You have a clip on your Instagram,
Mm.
and it was the difference in the Leslie. So yeah, that I mean, you need tubes somewhere. That's the
Yeah.
more of that story. But go ahead, Kitty.
It was the right amount of warmth. It was the right amount of. It felt like I was playing an organ. The pedals is the right length. The bench feels like it feels the height to playing ratio is right. The
Mm,
pedal, the actual swell pedal, don't make you feel like you. The volume pedal don't make you feel like you playing on something cheap.
mm,
It's a great organ. It is a great organ with that 142 or the 122H. If you plan it through anything else, or 122L, if you plan it through anything else, I understand why everybody has the mix. When I saw the video and the guy was sitting on that organ with the black Leslie behind him, I said, that's why. I understand.
that's it. That's why he
Now I'm
didn't
gonna
like
tell
it.
you something. I gotta go down the street to Viscount.
Mm-hmm.
Out the box, Viscount and Krumar is best friends out the box.
Best friends.
And y'all know how I feel about your best friends, and y'all know how I feel about Krumar. Trash, tragic, terrible. Throw that thing in the garbage. And Viscount, I feel the same way. What?
This dude.
That doggone set that Delroy got in it is top tier. It is top tier.
That
So
is
if you're
crazy.
gonna get a Viscount with the Viscount minus the S, call it Viscount. If you're gonna get that,
I
you
know.
got
I
to
see.
get those presets. Outside of those presets, is yeah, it's
Yeah, get you somebody that
a
can tweak an organ
$12,000
that
piece
knows what an organ sounds
POS.
like. Because the thing about it is if you're an organ player like you actually play organ on a regular basis, you're a person of specifics. Like
Yeah.
there's specifics to
Yes,
each organ experience, right? And no organ that you sit on and play is the same. So when it comes down to a digital emulation of that, it has to be on point, and I have to be able to manipulate those specifics. That's why you're winning with the logic organ, because you have specifics that you can manipulate, and the more parameters that you add to that, the more variations of organ you have. So when you have situations like your Viscount, situations like your Nord organ 3, situations like your XK7, if you have those parameters that you can edit, then it's cool. And then again, back to the Leslie conversation, if you got tools in that Leslie, I mean, that's going to make a difference. That's a variation based on what they were offering. So with the Viscount, it's not that it's a bad organ, but with these digital organs, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, this is my opinion, but correct me if y'all opinions differ. Where you get in trouble when it sounds too clean, and you don't have, or the highs, when your highs are introduced, and then I didn't mean to do that with my fingers.
You are
And my
hilarious with
balloons are
that,
going.
bro.
That's crazy. Um,
Hey,
when your highs
pause,
when your
pause for the
highs are
balloons.
introduced, I gotta turn it off on my computer. I forgot, but y'all stick with me, brother.
But
Um, and and then and then what was I saying? The highs, and then
So
the
you done messed them
Leslie,
up.
the way the Leslie sounds, the speed of the drum, the speed of the horn, the variation, the fact that they don't go the same direction. That's the thing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Is your stereo image of the Leslie correct? Where it breaks, the distortion, the type of distortion that you have, all of that stuff matters when you're talking about these organs. And when you're an organ player, my point is that you are a specific player, so you need the specifics that you expect to have the right experience with that organ.
I agree.
I agree.
Let me
I
turn these
agree.
balloons off. I gotta figure out how to
You gotta
do
figure it out. Yeah, he
it.
said, OJ says, no man, the Viscount with a discount with a 122 Leslie is heaven. Gotta be the Viscount Legend the full one with the full preset keys as well. Tilly Man has the. Nah, you ain't got it,
Still
cheese.
balloons. Still balloons.
I
Yeah,
can't
hey,
with you, bro.
hey,
We just gonna have
that thing
balloons,
got a
Doc. We gonna have
little
balloons.
weirder. No, just keep your hands down. The man
Nah,
said,
we gonna keep the balloons, Doc. We gonna
balloons,
keep the balloons.
No,
balloon me.
I cannot. That is so weird. Nah, it's.
Let me say this. This is why I disagree with the Viscount with a 122 setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I want to do that, then I'm going to give Hammond a chance. And the difference between the price point of the Viscount and the Hammond is literally $1,000 of a difference with the same
Between
Leslie
you talking about
pedals.
the XK? So Legend.
Hold on. I got the price.
Go ahead. What's your price?
I got it. That I got all three price points with the
Okay, what's your price
Leslie
point?
for the Nord. The price point with the Leslie for the Nord with the pedals and all of the switches and everything is right around almost between 10 and $11,000 after it's all
Okay,
said and done.
With the
okay.
Nord?
The
With the
price point
Nord
with
Oh,
the
pedals, pedals,
or
pedals.
pedals?
Yeah, keep going. Go
I'll
ahead.
send y'all
Go
the
ahead, Doc. You
breakdown.
got it.
The price point with the Viscount with the pedals after you get the Leslie and all of the stuff is shipping and taxes included. You at $1,000 more. You at 12,000 and some change. And with the Hammond VK7D with the pedals and the Leslie, and everything else that makes it an organ, you are at right at 13 and a half. So between the two, right? Of course, we just piece this stuff together. And I'm pretty sure where I got my pricing from also came with a little commission. But they all right within $1,000 price break or whatever after it's all said and done, including that Leslie. So if I'm gonna spend that type of money, I'm going to get that Hammond and I'm going all the way for what I know because I've heard it, I've played it, and not only did I hear it and play it, I heard multiple people play it. I sat down on it multiple times. Pause. That was crazy, but
That's crazy.
I was able to play it multiple. I had somebody walk me through everything. I had them flip it from 22 to a 147. You felt the warmth. It felt like an organ, and it did not sound like that Viscount. I promise you, under no circumstances did it sound like that Viscount. But with the Viscount being cloned the way it was cloned, that was a different story.
Interesting. Interesting.
Go ahead. I'm
No, that's
done.
interesting.
Yeah.
I got it. I think that's a situation to look at. I have to crunch all of the numbers together to see what you're saying, to see it like you're saying. But if you're saying they're within a 1K margin, that does change the conversation a little bit. But the baseline of it is what I think the Nord is 4K, the Viscount is the same. So what are we saving on the pedals for the XK? We just paying less for the pedals because I know the pedals for the Nord and the what's called get expensive. So is that where
Yeah,
in the Leslie?
I don't know. I think you saving money on the actual manual because the manuals is a total different price, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the manual for the Hammond is right at 7.5 or a little over 7.5, right?
Yeah,
So you're looking at after taxes and everything is all said and done, you right there about 8 and some change,
yeah,
right? Then when you get the pedals added in, the pedals is another 25, that's that's just what it is. If you already got pedals, praise God.
mm-hmm.
Then you still got to also add the accessories that go with it.
Yeah. You got to
The
get a
pedals
half
don't
moon.
just come with the volume pedal, yeah, half moon and all that other stuff. So, and then the Leslie is at another 2,500, I think, right?
Okay.
Maybe a little more. So after it's all said and done, when if I'm talking about just out the box, the Nord to me is a gigging board that you take on the road. You'll see it on tours. You'll see it all that. It's not an organ heaven. You're not gonna see somebody playing the Nord as like my organ go to. But
Interesting.
the Nord
Yeah.
sounds great. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's out the box. It sounds amazing, right? But when you sit down behind that Nord, and y'all could tell me where y'all disagree or maybe don't agree, it don't feel the same. It don't feel like you playing an organ. And them half pedals gotta go. Like I
Yeah.
don't know what that
I don't
is,
like to
but
hear.
that is like that is trash, right? And it
Yeah.
don't feel like
Yeah, I
you. It
disagree with you on
sounds
that.
amazing though. What the half pedals?
Yeah, I disagree with y'all on that. I actually have pedals. As long as they're long enough, I can play with half pedals. I play with my shoes off too. I don't play with shoes on just
Same.
because I like to
Yeah,
Yeah.
slide
same.
Same.
across the pedals, and I mean like it's just memory thing for me, because it's definitely different than a real organ than a traditional organ. But and I mean I think again
Hmm.
it's an opinion thing. Just like you know what I'm saying, some people like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the some people like touch sensitivity on, or they like the touch sensitivity on Roland better than they do Yamaha, better than they do Kurzweil, all of that. It's opinion based, but for me, I can rock with these things. Now, am I gonna play a bump with these
Yeah. It's
things?
funny.
Nah, I'm not gonna be able to do it because I mean, it's just certain things
So,
you can't do,
but
but
listen to what
for
I'm
general
saying,
purpose,
Sheridan. You as an organ player, when you sit down and play organ, there's something about feeling the rest of that, having that space on your foot. And I get. I'm not saying. I'm saying if I got the option, my first option is not going to be half pedals.
for sure,
Mm.
absolutely.
In no scenario, right? So that's what I'm saying. And
So, but the
you got
conversation,
organs, I got organs, but I'm not playing the half pedals. So that changes
But
the feel
the
for me. That
conversation,
changes the feel.
yeah. Okay, yeah, no, I get that. I get that. So for me, I guess my mindset, I'm having a conversation of most people ain't gonna go out and spend 10 grand, you know
That's
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying,
saying. That's
for
my
this whole
argument.
package.
Yeah.
They're gonna figure out the best budget way to get that. Now you
Yeah.
have the pedals that you got
Yeah, I was
were
about to
pretty
say I
cost
got the
effective.
like
And they're
$500. Yeah.
and they're pretty, yeah, and they're like full length.
Yeah, they're full length.
I have the Hammond pedals. And I think I got those for a deal. But they were a little bit more expensive. But I wasn't getting the Nord because they were like less than half the price of the Nord pedals. And they're interchangeable. So I mean, thing about it
Right.
is, and I was having this conversation, I believe on one of our Facebook pages, when we were talking organs, is
Mm-hmm.
that when you're in a tour situation, I have more times than not had to pull out my tools and service a Hammond B3 on the road because they are just not built for 20 city tours, 50 city tours, 100 city tours. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So there's something that's going to happen. They're going to break. And if you're not a master Hammond tech, because they have thousands of wires in them, I don't know if you've ever seen them open up. If you're not a master Hammond tech, there's only a certain amount of things that I can do to that organ before I'm gonna have to call master Hammond tech to come out and to fix it. Or if it's a proprietary part, like there was a part that I could have fixed on the Leslie that we had during the Christmas tour that we just did, and I just didn't have the part. They didn't sell it at Lowe's or anything like that. So I had to call a Hammond tech in the next city that we were in to come out just for that part so that he could put that part on. And it was a lot of money. It was a lot more. So when you're thinking about situations like that, then you're going to go to the use case. And I saw this at Ramp Church, that you gonna get an organ shell and you gonna throw that Nord in there, or you gonna get XK7 and you gonna, you know what I'm saying, make it do what it do, because it's going to be the most cost effective thing, even and especially if you're going for the look. The XK7, that whole package, that's cool. Now when you get to Viscount kind of has the look. I hate that they introduced or they announced, which I mean, I guess it's what you do, but they announced that Legend LM, all it is the lower manual for the one row, which I mean, that's not a huge announcement.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what they wanted to do, so they did it, which is cool. And for some people who own that one row, that's cool. But for me, again, it's putting together the right package that is going to supplement your needs. And we are in a day and age to where these organs, they don't make them anymore the way that they make them, the way that they made them. So they're getting less and less popular. People are not using them as much, especially in these touring situations, because they a lot. They worth it. They worth the trouble. But are they really though? In the moment.
So but that goes to my point.
I get the whole thing.
The Nord, the Nord, to my point, is what you will see in most touring situations, right? Even this XKD, you will see that XK7D, you'll see that in touring situation. The Viscount, I don't know why I don't like the back part of the Viscount. It looked like a desk, like you at a school or something. It don't look good. I don't know what it is. It's weird to
That's
me.
funny.
But when you sit, it looks and feel like it's something about the Nord that don't have that extra presets. Like, just give me that C to B. They don't got that. It don't feel like, I'm like, will I Nord, like a touring taking the Nord all day long? It sound good out the box. It's not like an organ right away. No thought process, no nothing. Hammond, you still and love that Leslie. But what a lot of like having their Leslies with them. Out of the fan, a lot of guys, because anytime you got with the 122, you got to hook it up to a 122. That's when it's gonna sound good. That's when you be like,
Yeah.
oh, so I got to still do a whole lot.
I
Write me
mean,
off. I'm out.
it's all in what it's all in what you can find. I don't know if that's my internet, but I think my internet's over here going crazy. But it's all in what you can find. Like, you can find that we're in the day and age now to where the remaining old instruments. You're finding at the Goodwill. You're finding at the pawn shop. You finding in old lady living rooms to where somebody had them and they haven't. This was somebody who unfortunately passed away, and we've had this in our house for years, and now it's just time to get rid of it because it's a big piece of furniture type situation. You're not going in stores and finding these for steals. But that being said, you can go on these classified ads and find you a doggone Leslie, find you a doggone organ. I just saw a C3 on somewhere for $750. A C3. That's unheard of. That's the same guts as a B3 with the long panels. I don't need a C3 or I would get it, but that's a steal. That's a super steal. But the point being is that you can go on these classified spaces, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, even Craigslist still, and find you a Leslie that you can get with your Nord. But I'm with Kenny, man. Out the box, it's gonna be the Nord for sure. Hold on, I gotta say hi to my wife and my daughter.
John, if you talking, I can't hear you, and I don't know if it's me or what's happening.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
There you go.
All right, bet. Yeah, you were a little
Yes.
pixelated. I don't know what happened on your side. It's just your internet is kind of going down. This is a live stream, y'all. So I had a super chat that came in.
Man, it's going
in and out. Super chat from Sup Glossary. I guess the glossary, I'm gonna mess that up. He says, "Are hardware keyboards forever doomed to be inferior substitutes for VSTs, Nord pianos, Kronos EPs, and user storage, Roland synths?" He said, I can get that caliber in laptop VSTs. Nobody can put all of that in one hardware board." I think that's a solid point. You know what I'm saying? The whole laptop situation versus
I'm sorry.
hardware.
Run that back one more time.
Basically, to sum it up, what he's saying is, and what he's asking,
run that back one more time. I'm sorry.
To sum it up, what he's asking is are hardware boards forever doomed to be inferior to VSTs? So he's saying, like, with your computer and with your VSTs and all of that stuff now, you got better sounds, better samples, better quality sounds in what you can get on the computer versus what you get at a hardware board. So he's like, why aren't the hardware boards at the same quality or timbre as the software? You know what I mean? Why is software edged up ahead of hardware now? Like, of course, you got a good sounding piano in the Nord, right? But you got Keyscape that's like $500. You know what I'm saying? And if you got a good computer that can run it, you got an equal or better sounding piano on your computer than you do in the Nord itself. That's basically
spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. These keyboards are computers.
Wait,
yeah,
Sheriden, hold on. Before either one of y'all answer, because hold on. But before y'all answer, because I know both of y'all about to go down this geeky rabbit trail that I don't
but
have.
when I say
Right?
it, it's a jab.
I want to talk about. Nah, yeah, it's a jab, but I'm not going down on geeky rabbit trail, so I'm gonna go on mute as soon as I say this.
That's fine.
The first problem with the computer is it sounds different in the studio than it sounds in a live setting. And if you don't know how to set it up in a live setting, you're not going to get the same sound quality. That's the first problem. The second problem is y'all don't spend enough money on actual computer that has enough space to carry you through situations to situation. And if your computer happen to update, and I forgot this last part. Y'all too cheap to go buy the real. Okay, I'm cussing Sheridan. Y'all don't want to buy the real shit. So since y'all don't want to buy it, y'all out here buying this crack version and getting all these crack VSTs. Then your computer start twerking and you can't get it to act right. So no, in most situations, you'll end up spending just. This is how I feel about watching streaming TV versus watching cable. You still end up spending the same amount of
Come on,
money
I agree
to
with you on
get
that.
what you're gonna get out of hardware versus what you're gonna get out of software if you're gonna spend the money on getting it the right way. If you're not gonna get it the right way and you're gonna call a couple of people who say I could download this on your computer for $25 and I got an $80 crack, like if you're not running the right software, if you're not running the right DAW, if you don't have the right interface, if you don't know how to hook your interface up, and if you don't have a good mixing engineer, stick to the hardware. I'm going on mute. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna say nothing else. I'm sorry for cussing, Sheriden.
I mean, Doc, nah, you preached a good sermon, Doc. You
That's a good
cussed in your
word.
sermon, but you
That's a good
preached a
word.
good sermon, man. I
I'll
mean,
jump in. I'll jump in as the proprietor of a lot of the software movement. You know, I was using my MacBook and a MIDI controller in like 2010 and preaching the gospel about that. And I still stand on business and stand 10 toes on everything that I believe about software and hardware, that the software rigs are just as capable and just as astute as a hardware rig. With the caveat is this. Here's the caveat. This is where I'll precursor and connect with what Kenny's saying, is that it takes a certain type of person that understands things at a level to really have and run a real software rig. Go look at Billy Joel's musician, the guy that MDs and tours for Billy Joel, and see his whole main stage rig, and you'll see what I'm talking about. These guys, you have to think, you can approach software like you approach hardware, but you got to have a different route and a different mentality when you're approaching building an all software rig. And to Kenny's point, trying to build an all software rig is just as expensive as spending money on a hardware board. Now you can get in, the barrier of entry is low because you can get an M Audio MIDI controller for like $200 or $300. Then you can get a MacBook Air, the new joint, the M5 joint, that's solid. Get it with like 16 gigs of RAM. You're gonna spend about $1,200. Now you in there $1,500. Now you got to get like Keyscape and all of those things like that to get the actual sounds that you want. Then you're still sub 2,000 on a good rig. The problem is when you really start maxing it out and getting all of the different software, $200 for this, $300 for this, $50 for this, $75 for this, $100 for this software, this plugin, this DAW, this, that. Now you're getting into the $3,000 to $4,000 range that you're spending on software, trying to build a software rig. Ask me how I know, because I've built out my software rig for over a decade, and I've probably spent close to $15,000 to $20,000 just on an all software rig over the course of a decade, buying the different softwares, buying different MIDI controllers, testing out this, testing that. So yes, to Kenny's point, I lock in with him. Now, to address the other part of what he was asking about, why hardware hasn't caught up to software in that space, I would say if you're looking for a solid board that falls into that point, you're going to check out the Core Chronos 3. That's going to be like your closest to a computer setup than you're going to get with any of these other boards. Even though the Phantom runs Linux, I believe some of the other core boards run Linux. I think even the 3-core Chronos 3 is running Linux. But a lot of these other boards are computers, and they have hard drives and they have space. They are computers. The difference is that's the closest you're gonna get with the Core Chronos 3. That's my space with that. I don't know what you wanted to say on this, Sheriden.
So here's my thing. When you buy a computer, you don't buy it to play sounds only. Exactly. You're going to do a lot of other things with it. You're going to expose it to the internet, the woes of the internet. You are going to do random things with it. So it's not dedicated to playing sound. So you could run into an issue with your software that was introduced to your computer by a website that you were on, by another program that you downloaded, by something else. Or your computer could just decide that some particular update, and even the guys that don't update their stuff, that some particular update is just going to throw your whole computer operation in the trash.
Now that can happen
I
with hardware
have,
boards too.
but hold on. I have a P330 behind me
Oh, now you ain't
that
updating
when I
that, doc.
tell you the only thing that I've ever had wrong with the P330 is the one I had one lemon unit that couldn't handle the heat, and it was probably exposed to so much more heat before it got to me that just a little bit of heat was making it mess up. But this, I got another one behind me. This thing, and we've talked about this. You got racks that are 30 and 40
40
years old still working because they have one job: cut on and reciprocate that MIDI CC that's going into there and change it to audio, translate that to audio. Um, with these keyboards, I mean, they have one job, so they run off of operating systems just like
Absolutely.
computers. And just like John's point, and to my earlier point, you're running Linux and Windows on the majority of these keyboards. But again, they have one
They have one
job. So when you cut those on, they're reliable, and with that, you'll get to a certain point to where the manufacturer will stop pushing firmware updates. Why? Because it doesn't need any more updates, and it's still going to function as it should. My Phantom G, I haven't updated that in years because there's no more updates for it. But guess what? When I played it Sunday, it did everything that I expected it to do.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
now, as far as the sound quality of those instruments, I mean, that's just a technological thing. If you go back to the XP series, the JVSR 80 series from Roland, the quality of those pianos are not the same as this Phantom right here because the technology has been updated. We talked about this on the last live. The technology has been updated to where you can compress more information, higher rates of information into smaller spaces, so you can pack them into these keyboards that are pushing out higher bit rates. They're pushing out higher sample rates. They're pushing out a lot more information in rapid time. So, so I know that you have new computers coming out and all of this stuff, but you always gonna be updating those softwares.
So
I mean,
I
this
agree.
this is gonna come out with updates, yeah, but a lot of those older keyboards, there's no more updates. And when you turn that keyboard on and you want to hit that Beltree Vox in this JV 2080, you just know what to do, and you can cut it
That's a
on,
smart
and
point.
it's gonna
That's a
do its
great
thing.
point.
You're just gonna be changing a memory battery.
I agree.
So
I think there's
it's
like
hardware
somebody
for me.
said somebody else said it's pros and cons to both, and I think this gets this next con. He hit us with another super chat. He said, and I appreciate the $20, bro, for real. But he said this is where the real point is, the linchpin is, and if you guys can read that, I'll read it out just in case. He says, I feel like if Nord is going to charge $6K for a board, every category from pianos, EP, strings, etc should be as good. I shouldn't have 1 or 2 gigabyte of user storage. Kronos gives you 120 gigabyte SSD. I think that speaks to a different and more valid point versus in the hardware software thing. It's the expense of it is like, if I'm going to spend that much, and now I think Nord is the exception because I feel like everything now they could do a whole lot more work with the synth section. They're getting better. The Wave is a good example, and then even some of the stuff that's in the stage 4, and I guess what's going to be in the upcoming Electro. They're doing better with their synth stuff, but their pianos, organs, and EPs, they're all on point. I got no check for you on that. Now, if we go down to some of the other boards, the Rolands, the uh, killing on synth stuff like that. But when you start talking about pianos and your bread and butter sounds, they can be a little bit lackluster. And like sample space is limited. Like when you talk about the montage, what you get like 10 gigs of sample
10
storage
gigs,
space.
Doc.
That's all you're
It didn't
getting,
do
but
nothing for the polyphony though.
and you spending 4,500 for that board. You know what I'm saying? Like V Stage, a V Stage you can't load. It has no sample memory. You're not loading anything in a V Stage that's not like Zencore or Roland Cloud or whatever. And I think even the space on that is limited. It's not you ain't got 30 gigs of space in the V Stage to do anything with the add sample stuff with. Nord is limited. So I can definitely agree with him on that point that like if you're going to be spending that kind of money, um, it's just that. And then if you're building out an all software rig, you just kind of got to know what it is and what you're building. You can build a solid rig that can work in a live situation that you can carry with you, portability, all of those things. It's just you
I need to
gotta be a different
evangelize.
type of user.
John,
Go ahead.
I need to
John,
evangelize after Kenny
John,
says what he's gonna say.
John, John. No. You know what's crazy about this conversation, and I
What's
get it,
crazy
you
about
know,
it?
because now I'm finna say some real crazy stuff. If you go pick up a
This
Bugatti is 2 point something and change me. No.
okay, come on.
Follow me on this
Okay.
journey. I don't own a Bugatti. I can't afford a Bugatti. Well, I don't own a Bugatti. But if you go pick up a Bugatti, do you know how many miles to the gallon a Bugatti get? No, I got a question. No. I want to ask you a question. Do
Okay.
you know how many miles to the gallon a Bugatti get?
How many miles? 8?
13 miles to the gallon. 13. 13 miles to the gallon. If you go buy a Tesla, do you know that a Tesla tell you that you can get about 300 and some change, maybe
No, you're getting like
400 and some
125.
change until they started adding on. Yeah.
Don't cut the
Hold on. Let me
arrow.
preach.
Don't cut the
Don't
radio
say
off.
amen yet. Don't say amen yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't nobody say amen. Give me 20 seconds. I'm gonna close. So when you go and spend money on what you want to spend money on, you're not looking for it to get you from A to B to C to D, right? Sometimes you just want to pull up and say, I got this $6,000 board. I'm not worried about the synth. 'Cause I got all of them synth boards back there. I got this. I don't remember how much I paid for this Roland V stage. I got this Roland V stage and I don't care about the sample memory. You have people who are true to brand. How many of us have Apple phones? And we don't care that Samsung, you can watch, you can open up a Samsung, it's this doggone big. You can do all of this with the Samsung Galaxy. It can fold into your pocket and do nobody gives a flying crap. Okay? We don't care. We don't care. And because we don't care, that's the same thing when it comes down to these keyboards. We're not talking about now. The reason why I'm upset with Nord when it comes to the price point of the Electro is
Mm.
simply because you are giving me half the stuff for more of the price, and then you have another board that's just one tier over and a couple $100 more in the same space. That's why I have a problem with price point. I don't have a problem with price point because of affordability. I have a problem because you have something that's just right there, and I could be like, your
Mm.
menu is too broad. Close that menu up some and just give me 4 keyboards to choose from. You get
That's
what I'm
fair.
saying?
That's
And at
valid.
that point, then I don't have to worry about is the key bed dope on Electro 7 and it still don't give me the playability to do what I need to do in most
You and this
situations, right?
playability.
So let me
In
be the
most
devil's
situations,
advocate
I'm
then.
closing here. In in most situations, if you need a synth board, you're gonna have a synth board on top, and you're gonna have a main board on bottom.
Yeah,
And your main board, you're not gonna be looking for your main board to carry the full load of everything. This is
true.
why we have all of these polyphony issues anyway, because y'all want to use all 8 faders at 100% and don't know that it ain't gonna sound good no way in the mix. Amen. I close the Bible.
So let me
Hey,
be the
I'm
devil's
going on
advocate in this
mute.
because that's a good point. That's a good point, Kenny. You close at the perfect spot because with the advancement of technology in these boards, I think one of the boards to do this the best, argue with your mammy because I'm not going to argue with you about it, is the RD 2000, preceded
RD.
by the RD 800,
Okay,
RD
explain. Let
Roland
me hear this.
RD. Because what you have, and the montage does it really good, but there's one caveat with the montage that holds it back from being great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that you can hook up one cable besides the sustain pedal, besides the stereo outs, besides the power cable, that is a USB cable from your keyboard to your computer. And if you want to play your keyscape piano, and I'm saying keyscape because that's the one that I probably like the best. That keyscape I think is the C7. If you want to play your keyscape piano out of there, then you can with one cable. It speaks MIDI, it speaks audio. It's a D to
Man, you
A
still talking
converter
about the
or A to
RD
D
2000?
converter. Then I'm still talking about the RD 2000.
Yeah.
You could do it with the Jupiter You can't do it now because they didn't update the firmware to acclimate with the new operating systems on these newer computers. But you used to be able to do that with the Roland Jupiter and the older Roland boards. Roland has done an amazing job with this. The RD2000, now Yamaha does it with that montage. You can do that. Now, the thing that holds Yamaha back, Yamaha, I know you ain't listening. I know you don't care because you make motorcycles and refrigerators too. But you can't use your traditional MIDI with your USB MIDI. That is so 1980s, bro.
That's
like
whack.
what the world. So,
That's whack.
but the point that I'm making for you guys, and I'm the challenger, is I'm challenging you guys to dig deep in your setups. Set your board up to where if you're going to use your computer, I'm a fan of hybrid systems. So use it to where it works amazingly. And with this keyboard, I know you can't see it. It's out of focus, but there's a button here that you can press and press shift, and it changes to where you're controlling MIDI. So it has 8 faders, giving away free game. Y'all need to consult with me so y'all can get these boards set up right so that you can set these systems up right so that you can play your hybrid systems and you don't have to worry about polyphony. Because if I have my piano, which has pretty much as much polyphony as I make it, coming through my keyboard, and I can use a fader on my keyboard, I can set and forget. Let me wake you up to something else. And this is something that a lot of people are delving into now. You have iPad apps. These iPads, they work like computers. They work. Imagine this being your setup. You take this thing in there. There's an app on here that I'm not going to tell you about. You got to call me to get it. There's an app on here that works just like MainStage. You absolutely.
I got videos on that app. I know what app you're talking about.
You got too. I'm giving away too much free game. So, and I can help you get it set up. But you can set this thing up.
Gatekeeping the iPad app is crazy though, bro.
Listen, man, because I'm giving too much free game away. I'm telling you, I got so
They're
many.
They're not gonna remember that.
Like,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I know. They're gonna log off the stream. They're gonna forget.
That's why it's on YouTube, so they can rewind it. They'll be like, he was talking about this app. Let me go find. You know what? I'll tell you the app. The app is called AUM.
Yeah.
It's called AUM.
They still don't know how to use it. They still gonna have to come to you to go figure out how to use it.
Yeah, so come to me hey man, you kind of hating right now. But
I'm not hating. I'm just saying, spit your game, do your thing.
But the thing about it is you have those of you who don't want to pay the $200 plus for Ravenscroft. The Ravenscroft app on here, it's not as expensive, but y'all not gonna go into it like
you get the same
piano computer anyway. Yeah, you get the same exact piano samples on there, and you can set it up to where it is decent, and you can play it through this iPad. I want to say the last time I checked, it was $40.
Yeah, you know
what I'm saying? You have a Moog Model D in there. That's like $5, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have so many.
AUM mixer.
There's some other synth apps in there that are going crazy, and I'm gonna clean you up real quick. I've had more glitches from my computer software than I've ever had from any iPad app. And these apps in here are crazy. Let me clean you up one more time. You have Alchemy
I told you.
in Logic. You have Alchemy. He said the app ain't no secret. Okay. All right, guys. We get the point. You have Alchemy in Logic that's running on here. The full version. So what I'm saying is, and I'm challenging you guys, is that you guys should try to change your setup to where you're using a hybrid setup so you don't run into the polyphony problems with especially your Yamahas, because you're not really going to have it with Nord, because Nord has split polyphony. They're one of the first to really do that. Korg did it too. And you're going to run into it with Roland, but not as quickly because you got V piano. That's easy. And that's unlimited. But make that hybrid setup. Hit me up so I can help you set it up. That's what I'm preaching about.
You and your infomercial. That's what I wanted to let you finish it. I was just waiting on you to say call 1-888. Call Sheriden.
Listen, man, hit me up. Y'all playing.
Call Sheriden. Act
y'all
now.
Playing.
You can have it. But wait, there's more. I was waiting on all of that.
There's more.
But no, this is a great segue.
Playing, man.
Go ahead. I was going to segue because go ahead, because I think this is a good segue. Go ahead. What you got to say?
No. You can segue because I was just going to go back to the point that if you don't spend the money in one, you're going to spend the money in the other. That's all I was going to say.
Preach again.
And I was going to segue. I was going to segue into this V stage because I think what all of this does actually segues us perfectly into the V stage conversation, because all of us have had this board for the grand total of a year collectively, all together, all and individually, we've all had them, and I think it speaks to a little bit what you were talking about, Sheridan, which is the hybrid setup, which that's the thing that won me over with this particular board. And I have my opinions. I'm gonna do a full on like 1 year review as well on it, where I like really deep dive into it because they've added some stuff even since then. Like they put a whole vocoder
The
section.
vocoder. Yep.
They got a whole vocoder on this. No, no, Ed, we're not letting you on the show because we know this is Keys and Conversations. This is our show tonight because you gonna hop on with your
Hey.
1,000 keyboards and all your rolling knowledge, and you're gonna be trying to school us.
Hey man.
We'll get you on another episode, not this one.
Send Ed an invite, bro. That's
No,
gonna
because
be
Hey,
I
I
know
want to
Ed gonna
say
insane.
this
take over
real.
the
Oh
show.
god.
Ed gonna take over the show. But go ahead.
I want to be the first. I want to be the
Let us
first to get
cook.
out the way and just kind of be. Um, y'all do know that from day one, I was really disappointed in out the box settings, right?
Yeah.
And so it took me a while to get around to like setting it up to make sense for my setup,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm extremely impressed. And I've been actually singing the praises to a
Yeah.
lot of guys around here now. So one thing that I did listen to was, oh, it's the best bang for your buck. And I
Mm-hmm.
said at first I was very like,
Couldn't
no,
see
it's
it.
not.
Couldn't see it.
But then when I started to actually dig in, and started to um there is a few things that still kind of throw me for a loop. Like I'm still not a fan of the knobs, but they're easy to use and easy to program. So what I do appreciate about this board is it's very user friendly. It is user friendly, however, it definitely takes um some knowledge to get around certain parts, especially if you're trying to get into the MIDI and there's multiple ways to get to MIDI. That's the part that kind of throw me for a loop a little bit. Also, if you are going to use an external module, you have to know how to set the volume at what it's going to be. You
Mm-hmm.
can't mix it in the way you want to
Yeah.
mix it in that you can do with the internal sounds. But then here's the last thing that I talked about today, and maybe Ed know a way around it. And that's just that gets a little, anything that I got to do too much work to figure out, I start to tap out
That's most
because
people.
it
Yeah,
just
that's
leaves
most
me
people.
in a weird space, right?
Yeah.
And if if my tech can't figure it out, and we got to call another tech to figure it out, that's when I started to become like, okay, put this
Yeah.
back in the case, whatever. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what I did do was a side by side comparison, and this is something that I just did recently, and I wanted to show y'all, but my setup is not conducive today, so we'll do it another time. However, I
Mm.
did a side by side comparison with the MKS20
Is that
with
on
the
your
SA
page?
pianos in. It is on my page, but I'm gonna just do a video where I
Okay.
actually go side by side, and I'll post it later. And doggone it, them pianos are right there neck and neck, are
Mm.
right there neck and neck. And when you try to do an eyeball or ear ball, I call it that. That's a new word. When you try to do like a gauge with just listening, you're
Yeah.
gonna miss it. So
Exactly.
what I did was I compared piano one to the digital piano one in here, neck and neck. When
Mm.
I compared the E piano one and the E piano two, neck and neck with the chorus, neck and neck. I mean, neck and neck, almost to the point to where I was like, okay, so you don't need the MKS.
Mm. So that's how you feel. That's where
It's a
your
little
opinions at now.
when I did the side by side comparison. This was a little cleaner. Like that
Yeah, it's
MKS
clean.
is a little gritty and a little
Mm-hmm.
got a little dirt on it.
Yeah,
But
that's what I like about it.
side by side, and I went side by side, and I was like, oh, so
So
in a
it's like
side by
what you
side
said with
comparison,
the. It's like what you said earlier. So I liken it unto. Listen to me. I'm so churchy. Liken unto the what you experienced with the Hammond, what you experienced with the Hammond versus the XK,
mhm,
the regular Hammond versus the XKD. Like when you're sitting there and what other people experience with the Viscount and with the Nor organ, depending on who you talk to, results are gonna vary. But we're all like purists and we all have different ears. You know what I'm saying? So to the average ear, they're not gonna be able to tell the difference. Average ear is not gonna be able to. You gonna feel EP. I know I got a joint in here. Can y'all hear that? You're gonna hear that and you're gonna think it's you're gonna think that's MK. You're gonna think that's MK if you
Yeah,
hear that or whatever.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But somebody
So
that's a purist and I
I'm
got
gonna
a
play the advocate.
you know what I'm saying? And you got a P330 there, or you got an MK, and you used to that grit and that dirt and the certain nuances that's in there. That's where it starts to fall
Yeah,
apart. Just like you would say when you said at the Viscount, and when then you went and said at the Hammond, and then you plugged up the solid state, and then you plugged up the 122, 140, and you're like, nah, this is different. It's a different stuff. Then your preamps matter, the cables you're using matter, the listening environment you're using matter, the key velocity response matters. You know what I'm saying? It just really depends on what you're going for. But it just depends on who you are and what it is. That's where I land with it. But it's a good take.
John, you
That's still
should
a
know
good
where
take.
I'm about to go with this.
Go ahead.
You should know where I'm about to go with this, Doc.
Go
I've been
for it.
evangelizing on my own products all day.
Just keep listen. Just keep the infomercial. Just keep the infomercial out of there. No, go ahead.
So there are certain particularities that you have with this sound. One thing that I found is the SA Piano 2 is the same. It's an updated version, but it's the same as the P330. Which is very, 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 very close to the MKS20, like Kenny said. There's something that you have to do to make it sound closer. I ain't gonna tell y'all that because I got it in my sound pack. So go to my bio. I'm just saying. Yeah. But as far as bang for buck, it's just like we saying, man. Like you're not going to be able to tell the difference in the mix unless you're a purist. And I will also say, not even, I'll just say that. I'll leave it there. But with the V stage as a whole, the Saints are waking up. The Saints are waking up. The pianos are better. Don't let Yamaha fool you because I ain't gonna hold you. Them Yamaha pianos next to these Roland pianos, bruh.
Yeah.
Them Yamaha pianos ain't even really like sweet like that.
Especially
compared to
cool.
The Roland pianos. Roland is getting a lot better. They're moving in the right direction. One thing that I will say, and I've been preaching this to Ed since we started having this conversation, probably one of the first conversations that we had when we met a year ago, that ADSR. The reason being is for creativity purposes. Some of the pianos that you would like to play at quicker speeds, and I'm not talking about cutting the release back to -5. That's crazy. That's asinine. But I'm talking about taking just a little bit of the resonance off of there, and there are parameters where you can turn the resonance off, but there are so many parameters that you can turn the resonance off and on that you're going to cut away some of the other personalities of the piano that make it sound natural. So I want the piano to sound exactly the same with just a little bit less release. Or if I want to play something weird and I want the attack to be off, I want to be able to adjust that and turn the delay and the reverb on to where it almost hits like a pad, but it's a piano sound. I mean, different things like that. So still catching up in that category, something that Kenny pointed out, which I'm talking with Ed about that, and hopefully they will update that in a
and that's just on the regular piano. That's just on the regular piano because you can load in a piano from the synth section.
Ain't nobody gonna play them though, John.
No, they're not. But
they better not play them. But the one thing.
But if you just want release, on the piano, you can get it from the synth. You can get it from the piano on the synth.
I think
what
But you're talking about on the regular acoustic piano.
About
on the V pianos.
No. Well, I think what Sheriden is talking about is having the option to be able to control it, because you can only control it You can control it in a synth, but you cannot control it from
No, you
the
can't control the piano
acoustic piano
or
section
the
or the
electric.
electric piano
No,
section.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this. We're saying the same
Exactly.
thing. I'm just saying
Exactly.
No.
that, like, if you're that
But the
guy that wants release, you want to tweak the release, and you want do all of that
but then I mean,
YN
but the
stuff,
quality of that piano,
then you
what you're
just
Hey,
use
saying
it.
is
John,
yeah.
cut that.
Oh Lord.
John, cut that off. Cut that
Please,
off.
yeah, that
Get that
piano's
out
trash.
of here. I
That
told y'all
yeah, that
last
piano's trash.
live. Play like a grown man.
You got
Please,
to. No, I just
please.
But
pulled it
the
up because it
other
was
point
Cut
that
fat.
I
that
was
off.
making
That's
that Kenny
that
was
is
talking about is the being able to blend your sounds from the external board with the
Yeah,
knobs. You should be able to do that. That's something that isn't enabled in the board. I don't know why, but I'm talking with Ed about getting
it
that figured
does.
out because that ain't nothing but a firmware update. And that's something somebody said that sounds ugly.
It
Yeah,
does.
that piano was trash. And I'm
yeah.
mad that John gave y'all that as an example of the
I
piano
just gave
for
it
the
as
V
an
stage
example.
because
It's the
I
sound in the
think we
board if
just
you want
we
it.
just lost about 5 sales on the the V stage just because of the trash piano.
Nah, for real.
But no, the blending the sounds and the external sounds, that's something that's paramount, is key because you want to be able to, again, like I've said about the hybrid situation, you want to be able to sit down at one board and control everything that's connected to it. If you
Yeah,
can't do that in 2026, you don't need that board.
yeah. No,
Because
for
guess
real.
what? You can do it with the family. You can do it with the RD. God bless
But
you.
even with that, some of the I mean, you get the aux sound. These are some of the sounds that I have in my own pack. So you can get some good.
I like that sound, John. That's a
You
that's
know,
a great sound.
it's got the sounds and stuff in there.
Yes.
You got the joint. Like this is a joint I did. This is a sound that I made, and because it has the shimmer reverb in it, right? That's one of the things that I've loved about this board, that they added like a shimmer reverb section in. And so what I was able to do in terms of a sound design on this is build in shimmer, but add a seventh because you can tweak the pitch on the shimmer. So I was able to add a seventh in on the pitch. So you get, hear that seventh in there?
Mm.
And it just adds that. It's little stuff like that that makes the V stage worth it to me because I got access to that kind of stuff, but also I got access to some of the what's it called stuff from Zencore. You know what I'm saying? So I can get those weird.
Yeah.
So being able to get that kind of stuff
Hey man,
for me is dope.
what I and one of the things that I do like if we talk about having a board that has, are you playing talk music? Is that,
Yeah,
do I got talk
might as
music? What's
well.
happening?
Come on, preach, Kenny. I'm just backing you up, bro.
I don't want to talk music, John. No. You're fired.
You
Okay,
stupid.
look, what I want to say is this though. What I like about having the B stage is what I like about having the V stage is you can have the synth sounds and you can make great pianos all
Yeah,
in one board. And then you have the option to take this one board,
come on.
USB-C out,
Yeah,
and use a whole nother board
exactly.
to
That's what I
to
was
do
doing.
a total different separate function over here that ain't got nothing to do with this board right here. That was always a winner for me, has always been a winner for me. And like I had, that was the one thing I said, now come on. Now, if you would have said that about that $6,000 board, I got you. Because
Yeah,
that is where you start to separate the technology and the actual playability
Come on with the playability. We're gonna title the
Keep,
It's
stream play.
2026, Doc.
you could
Yeah,
do
and
It's
that's my
2026.
point. That's my
you could
point
do
is the
more. You could
functionality.
do more. Yeah,
It's the sounds, and you got
yeah.
USB-C. You got audio and MIDI over USB-C. You can plug up. I think in my test, I think we did like 4 or 5 different MIDI controllers to this board that you can
Hmm.
plug up to it, and you can MIDI it out and control them independently. Put a different sound on it. So
Y'all
for
talking my
me,
language.
what it lacks in, because the piano is just a little underwhelming if you're just trying to compare it to everything out. You got to sit with it and you got to make it into what you want. You know what I'm saying?
You
And
have
it
to.
just really depends. But the layering to me makes more sense than any other board that I played on recently.
Yeah,
It just lines up with
yeah.
that kind of stuff. The layering, all of the other stuff. The organ is cool. It'll work for
Organ is
what you
great.
needed.
The
You
organ in
it's
there is
it's not
great,
my
bro.
favorite. It's not
You
my
got to tweak
favorite,
it.
but
It's
yeah,
not.
you got to
It's
tweak it.
yeah.
It's not my favorite, but
Yeah.
to the point, it would in a like we were talking about earlier in a mix in a situation, it cuts. It'll work, and nobody's gonna whine about it. Like the only person that would probably be whining about it would be the purists. But for the most part, like you're gonna be in a situation and it's gonna work. So I think it's a solid board for that. And 1 year in, it's still I think this is still the winner for me for like even all of 2025, even though it wasn't like the star for me. It just won for me. And then they added the vocoder situation. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to play. Did you have a chance to play around with the vocoder, Sheridan or
Just a
King?
little bit.
What did you think about it?
Just a little
Nah.
bit. It's the same as the one that's in the Phantom Jupiter X as well. It definitely has a use for like pop gigs and stuff like that. Like if you doing 24 karat magic and you want to
Right.
you want to get the
You want
LE
to get
version
that?
of the talk box,
Hold on. I
then
think
you
I
can
got
do
it
it.
here.
Oh
Check
Lord, here we go.
1, 2.
99, not 99. Come on.
Hold on. Let me mute my regular
Yeah,
joint.
I hear
Good.
you
Good.
whispering. I hear you whispering.
Hear me whispering now. Can you hear me whispering now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hey, 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 John, saying my name in vocoder is gay. I just want to say that. Stop. Please stop.
Hey man,
It,
I'm crying.
Okay,
I'm crying.
I will stop saying
All right, John, we got
nothing.
the demo.
yeah,
We got
that
the
just
demo.
turned into a rainbow fest.
Ain't no way, Doc. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
But
That's
nah,
funny.
so let me ask this question because I feel like again the V stage is a great iteration in the stage lineup that Roland offers following their V what is them? It's like the V330
V
990
everything.
whatever
Yeah.
those
Yeah, I
those
know what you're talking
yeah
about.
those that in that lineup. So since we got Ed on here, Ed, can we get another RD that is the cross between the V stage and the Phantom, but has all the functionality of the 2000? Because that 2000
What are you firing me
does
for?
so much, and it's
I ain't
it's
done
it's
nothing.
it's the
I was like, when I get fired, I get fired.
Dang man, you got fired on your day off.
I
But
know. I'm not even
You got fired
working.
can
twice
we get
on the same
can we
string.
get can we get another? I think it's time for another RD. I'm just saying. They have the RD 1000, which is the MKS, in the RD 2000.
hmm
Let's get another
But
RD
I don't know, man.
and
It's
put all
just
of
to
this
me.
this new tech in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could definitely see it, and I think it would be dope to have that. I would much rather them just update this bad boy and give us better pianos or whatever they could do to the V Stage 2 if they had to recombobulate it. Because like Roland, it's like Nord. They have so many different boards and so many different categories that cross over into the same lanes. you know, and it's all about
Well,
aesthetics and what you're looking for and what you need if you're
I
going to
gotta
get
disagree
this, if
with you.
you're going to, nah,
I
I
gotta
just, to
disagree with
the
you. The
average,
reason
we're
why
nerds. No,
is
listen, we're nerds, of
nah, I
course.
ain't even talking nerds. I'm not
We're
even talking
nerds.
nerds. The thing about it is that's a good Nord conversation. And with the Nord pianos versus the Nord stage, you get in real murky ground when you get to talking about the stage versus the Electro. There's no sense in that. There's no sense in that.
There's a
But let me tell
difference
you what
clear,
you're
but
not
when you
gonna
start talking
have
about
on a RD versus a V stage. You're not gonna have drawbars on no doggone RD. You're not going to
that's
have
what
it
I'm
because
saying. I got you. I got you on
it's
that,
an
but I'm just saying,
acclaimed stage piano. And the thing about it is it's function use. Because I'm gonna tell you, John, I've used it. I don't know how much experience you have with RD. I've
I
used
got
the
RD
RD
700
2000,
in the closet over here. I played a RD
2000 Reverend,
2000. I played a 2000 at the last church I
2000.
was at.
But
I
so the
wasn't
thing
impressed
about
by
it
it. It was just, it was cool.
is having but again, the thing about it is having that functionality on the front panel to where I believe that the RD 2000 integrates amazingly with external situations with your modules and specifically your
I
computers,
got you.
and
I
it
got
lines
you.
up with MIDI communication. So
So
like, and I
why not
remember we had
update this? Why not update
no
this
faders,
situation?
no faders, because
We can
that's not quick. You can't.
faders is cool,
Nah,
but like even the aspect of what this standpoint, because now you're getting into the whole conversation with Yamaha and um and polyphony
nah.
and adding like
And I'm gonna
Negroes
tell
want
you
to
why
put
you're
like
not.
19 layers together on one situation. No, a board that just
I
does
use
the thing that
layers.
it needs to do. Layers, yes. I
I
mean,
use
this gives
layers.
you layers. This gives you 6
But
layers
here's what
in
I'm
one
saying
swoop
though. With
plus an
that,
organ.
here's what I'm saying with that though. The problem with Yamaha and this,
I'm not even comparing it to
please,
Yamaha. Like,
the
I'm not
problem with
even trying
Yamaha
to.
is that when you load a sound into the Yamaha boards, the way that they have their wavetable set up is they span across faders. So you're no longer slaved to Kenny. You with them chips is tearing me
It's
up
killing
right
me
now,
up.
dog.
It's,
That's hilarious.
it's the way
But
he eats. It's just
you
like,
no
yeah,
longer have channel one, fader
we
one. We
can't hear you
can't,
now.
but it's the fact you don't have channel one, fader one, channel two, fader two, channel three, fader three. You don't have that with Yamaha. You always have that with Roland. You always have it with Roland.
I'm with
Because
it. I
so
got you. I got
if
you.
I
I'm
have a cool
still.
sound, like if I want to do, you know what I'm saying, cool sounds, like if I have a cool sound on my first fader and I'm like, hey, you know what? I want to introduce a different sound. I want to introduce a sound from my iPad that I haven't found anywhere else, but it's on the app here on
Mhm.
my iPad to make this arpeggio sound great, to sound better.
I'm
You know what I'm
with it.
saying? I can plug it via USB-C in the back of the board, and it's going to play, or plug it in via USB, not USB-C right
I
now because it's
got
not
you.
on
I
the
got no, but
RD2000.
I'm with you
So
100% on that. Where my pushback is that an update to this board to allow that functionality to give you better external control would solve that problem quicker and easier than building a whole different board or revamping a whole nother, you know, new board in it. I'm like, if you give us external control, and it may already be in there, we just hadn't talked about it with Ed in detail, but they could easily, from my perspective being a software developer, could easily implement that in code and in software to build it in. That layout makes sense, and it makes more sense to me than an RD, especially for this vibe, because you got organ, you got piano, you got electric piano, you got 2 synths. Press a button, bring in your synth. If you want to bring in something from your iPad that's connected, bring it in, turn this knob. It's in synth mode, it's in external mode. We just turn the knob and we turn the volume up on that, and we, you know, we move it, or make all of this stuff MIDI CC capable where I can map it to
so we're
whatever
gonna
I want to map
we
it. Versus like
yeah, I'm not
I
trying to
like the
map.
layout better than this than the RD. And I think
We're gonna
it
have to
just creates an interesting conversation for me that just doesn't
we're gonna
work.
have to agree to disagree on that, because I'm gonna tell you what I'm not doing at the 12 o'clock service at Bates Memorial Missionary Baptist Church on Sunday mornings.
Not
I'm
based
not
memorial.
turning rotary knobs. I'm pushing faders, and I have it. We have a M8X. I have it
Mhm.
to where I have a particular layout. I have my pianos on the first couple layers. I
Mhm.
have brass and stabs on maybe the next 3 faders, and then I have pad and strings on the
Mhm.
next 2 faders. And I'm never using them all simultaneously, but if I do a soft song, then I'm turning up the pad and eventually the strings based on the mood of the song. A song that is more up tempo, then I'm using that brass, and sometimes I
But you got
integrate
you got your quick
the
buttons here,
sounds
like literally
to
quick
sound
switch
particularly different.
with a press of a button that's already laid. Boom, boom, boom.
It's not
I
quick
mean,
though. It's
that's
not
quick to
quick
me. I
because
mean,
the thing, and again, it's cool for its use case. And I'm not saying that the V Stage is a bad board because I love it. It's a great board. And yes, Kenny, I just said it. I love the V Stage. I do. It's a great board.
hey, don't
But
get Kenny's
if I'm
don't
on a
get Kenny,
live
Kenny
gig
about
and
to
I'm
light
playing
you up, bro,
main,
because you flip flop more than a
if
salmon out of
if
water, bro.
no, but listen, let me finish what I'm saying. If I'm on a live gig and I have to play main and I don't have to play organ and I don't have to play heavy EP and we have an aux player,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to choose something to where I have faders. That's been my
Wait, 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 wait,
consistent
wait, wait,
gripe
wait, wait, wait.
with the V
I got a
stage.
question. I got a question. I'm going backwards. You said if you on a gig and you don't have to play mains and you don't have to play aux,
Mm-hmm.
what are you playing? No, I'm asking. Well, that's the question.
Did I
If
say
you
did
don't
I
have to
say
play
That's
main?
what
I
you
mains,
said if I'm
said.
on a I said
I caught it. That's
I
what you
thought I said
said.
no, I thought I said if I'm on
you
a
said if
gig and
I'm
I
on a
have to
gig
play
and I don't have
mains,
to
Hey,
but
go
I
play
ahead.
don't have to
mains,
play.
You said I don't have to
you
play
said
mains and
you
I
don't
don't
have to
have to
play
play
both.
aux.
I meant
So
to say if I'm
so
on
I
a
was gonna
gig and I
ask
have to
you.
play mains, I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna have to go
Well, no,
back
I
and
mean
replay and make sure I
It,
either way.
said
So, yes,
I got
go
if
ahead.
I gotta play mains
so
and I don't have to play like too much aux and I just need something to supplement what I have and I don't have to play auxes in organ, because that's where the V stage shines is in being able to put the organ on there and being able to stack stuff with that organ. And again, with the even with the Yamaha, you're gonna get great sounds out of the Yamaha. I like Roland aux better. You know what I'm saying? I like Roland aux
wait,
better. I like Roland supplements.
I just gotta say this. All right. We know Roland for auxiliary heavy synth effects and all that. That's what Roland has
Yeah.
dominated. They have dominated in digital pianos, right? They've dominated in that space. So now let me tell you why I kind of agree with both sides because now I think what y'all getting into is like this little techie word. That's why I started eating my chips and I had to spit out because this is what y'all was doing was cussing each other out with specs. Beautiful, beautiful. I could care less. But I'm gonna tell you where I agree both ways. When we get into what the V stage is missing, it's missing faders.
Yeah.
If the V stage had faders, both of y'all just had a baby and it came out to be a V stage, right?
Yeah.
Because what you can do in the RD 2000, I have a RD 2000 EX that's in the closet that probably will never see the light of day in the arsenal of keyboards that I have, right? Not because of functionality and because of whatever, but because simply I do believe that the V stage now after being able to dig in the V stage, they won up the RD 2000, but the RD 2000 still has faders, and that made that piano, stage piano, worth the
And it has
wow,
a pitch deck.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has okay, yeah, it does have a pitch stick,
Mm-hmm.
but I could live either way with the mod wheel and the pitch bend. I could live either way. It don't that does not really like tick my ticker more than the fact that the V stage was missing faders. That's what ticked my ticker. And so then I would ask the question to both of y'all: if the V stage could have faders, how many faders would you give it?
If it was up to me, I would just update it to where even these drawbars could be flipped into a fader mode.
Because
Now,
then
I
what
You
you
think
can't
gonna do
use your
when you're
organ
using
no
the
more.
organ?
no, I'm saying like, well, the person you're not the person who's doing that is it's in a specific
Me.
you want synth piano and you want brass and you want 6 pads layered up ready at your fingertips to pull up. You're not looking to
Why
like
wouldn't
play
you?
organ in that moment. You just talking about your scenario was like pulling up and playing mains and having access to your pads and your strings while you playing mains and being able to just push up your brass at a moment's notice. If you got the V stage here and you literally got it in like a fader mode because it's a flip, you could literally do the same thing. That's just me like playing like a interface like type vibe. But I don't know. That would be my go-to. And then if you want to use the organ, then you click a button or flip, press a shift thing or whatever, and you got your drawbars back. You back in drawbar mode, and
So
you can
how
just
many?
call it a day.
So you using eight? So you using eight? You would give them 8 faders.
I would just use because it's already on the interface. I would capitalize on that real estate right there from an
So it's not
interface
All right,
drawbars,
share
but
standpoint.
it.
8
Just
faders. I wouldn't give it faders because it's a different baby. Like we're talking about the and again we're talking
Sheridan,
aesthetics.
without
So
being
don't cuss me off for
difficult,
this.
the question is no. The question is if you could
I
have
wouldn't give it
faders on the
faders.
V stage, but if
But
it
you
was
just
a
Okay,
didn't you
fifth,
just
it
say
would
you
be
let
a
me take
wanted
that
draw.
back.
faders?
Let me
You
take
would
it
give
back.
it
Let me
faders.
take
That's
it
where it's
back.
mixing.
I know I said it doesn't have faders. So let me take it
No, I'm
back. I would
asking
give it
if you
faders
would,
in the
if you
synth
gave it
section.
fader.
I would give it a fader for the A section and the B section and the synth section.
So you
That's
have
all
2
it needs
faders.
because you have one organ, you have one piano section. You don't need faders for that.
So
You
if they
have
put out a
So I mean,
V stage 2, then change these knobs, they pulled a Nord stage 4 on us and just put faders here instead of knobs, it's a win. It's up for you.
it's up for me, but it still doesn't beat out the RD series.
Even with all of
okay,
the
so
features.
okay,
It's
hold
a
on.
preference.
Before
It's a
y'all keep
preference.
having this RD V stage, y'all doing this right now. Put the gloves away. We don't care. Okay, we don't care. Let me tell you, I actually agree with Sheridan. I want to
Okay.
say, and I want to tell you why I agree with Sheridan because the AB panel in the synth section gets weird, especially if you
I agree
on the
with you.
fly. And if you're on the fly and you got your like in my scene that I got built out. On one, I have a brass, and then on the other, I have a pad. And if I'm just like in a moment where I just need my pad, that brass gonna show up. And then you got to go through and try to click real quick to kind of get it out of there. That gets weird. So I agree with I would add 4 faders, and I'll tell you why. I would add 4 faders because the piano is what the piano is. So I will leave
Mm-hmm.
the piano alone. But on the electric piano, I would give it space to have a Rode 1 and then I would have another space for it to
I see where
have
you're
a
going.
digital EP, right? And then I would have 2 faders in the synth section. But
Mm-hmm.
if was a fifth, we would be drunk. Okay. I just want to know if we can have it our way, if we can have it our way, because I don't see, I'm gonna be honest, I don't foresee them giving us a RD right now. I believe it will come down the pipeline, but I don't think it's gonna happen in the next because you gotta exhaust this B stage. And that's what they've been pushing. And they're
But
gonna
then
push this for at least another 5 to 6 years before we get another keyboard introduced that's in a flagship of like pianos and stage pianos.
yeah,
So here's the
but
other
why
thing
not?
about
Go
that.
ahead.
If you have like a Roland Integra 7,
Or what about
coldest module on the
the
marketplace,
FA?
and I'm just saying,
The
this is another example.
what about the
Roland
FA?
Integra 7 or main stage, you can
What about the
literally
FA? The
press
FA is
Doesn't it got faders on? It's
the
got
FA
faders on it.
stands.
I know it's like a baby
FA.
Phantom. Not the FA. What am
You
I thinking
talking
about?
about
The Phantom '06, not
the
the FA,
Phantom
the
O
You talking
series?
about the
I'm thinking about the
No, he's talking about the
'06.
Phantom O series. So the Phantom O series and the Phantom series are exactly what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
they do
So I'm
exactly the
saying with
same
that,
thing.
why do we need a new RD if the argument is faders and you can get the same sounds, the same fader vibe on an O series that's the same price point as a RD 2000?
Can
Why
I be
not that?
honest with you, John? But can I be honest with you? Because if I be honest, now we just playing with the psyche.
Yeah.
In my psyche, the Phantom is not my go-to for my piano. When I
Mm.
see Phantoms, and it
You think
this
synth?
just
You
in
think
your
ox?
psyche,
Yeah.
you think ox,
Yeah.
and you got the big 8, and you like. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I would love to see analytics on this, and if we ever had the chance to see the analytics, I would love to see when
Yeah.
how much they sell between the 6 and the 7 versus them selling at 8. And I see more eights
Mm.
on marketplace than I see any other keyboard on the market.
Amen.
People are getting in their Phantoms. People don't want the big G. It was out of there. The big
Yeah.
F.
And
It
that's
was out
exactly
of
what I
there.
was going to say. X and G.
So, but then when you got into that RD, it's something about the nostalgia of the RD that people just say, "Oh, I gotta have another RD." It's the same thing with the motif. It's the same thing with the Nord stage. When you get into the name of those pianos or those workstations, people are going to it based off of if I had the iPhone Pro Max. I'm going to upgrade to another iPhone Pro
Yeah.
Max. I'm not going to get the SE.
Likewise.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to get the Pro. I'm not going to get I'm going to what I know. So I do agree that there is a future for the RD. But I also see that this is getting back into that conversation of having too much in the same space. Because
That's
the
my
V
thing.
stage, the V piano, that first V piano that came out, right? And was it called the V stage? I don't think it was called the V stage.
No.
It was just the V
No, just
piano.
V
Am I?
piano.
Yeah, it was
So
the
that
piano.
first
Yep.
V piano, the V piano that came out, there was no space for it for real. Not
No.
with the RD running rapid, with it being a
Yeah.
workstation with faders and all that. And I can almost
Yeah.
guarantee you that V piano bombed.
Mm.
Yeah. It
I
had
mean, they
that,
didn't they
but
didn't
that
make it
mug
for long.
sounded
But that's
good
just my
though, boy.
situation.
That thing sounded
Yeah,
But
great.
this
Have you heard it on
it sounds
Andre
oh
amazing,
no, it
Crackler's
but
sounded
record?
amazing.
Mano
My my
Hayes, doc.
thing my thing was
no.
it's just like what
It
you're
was
saying though. It's just what you're
yeah.
saying though.
It's too
Like
much
that
in one space.
it's too much in one space. That's just my thing with all of these companies. Now you take Korg, they kind of handle their lineup a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? They don't have as
Hmm.
many boards living in the same category. Like, you got the Nautilus and you got the Chronos. You know what I'm saying? They're
Hmm.
they're like the
Terrible decision.
Mo. Yeah, it really was for especially to make that. That's for another pod to have that as its flat to replace the Chronos as that as the flagship was just an interesting choice
Terrible.
with no faders on it. That was interesting, and the virtual thing was just terrible. Trying to do that on the screen with like the touch screen, that was just a bad design choice, and I think they reversed course on that. Thank God. But when you start talking about Roland, I got the same critique for them that I have for Nord in that space because it's like there's too much living in the same space with the same price points that do the same thing. And I'm like, and I think because I think logically, that's just my logical brain on like, how do we just simplify the entire lineup? You know what I'm saying? Simplify all of the choices. But I get it, consumer wants what the consumer wants. RD nostalgia is a real thing. Phantom, dedication is a thing. V stage. If they came out with a V stage 2 next year, I'm probably getting it because I just love the form of the V stage. I
But
would
that's
probably
how
rock
you
with it.
are with the Electro. That's how you was
Electro,
with the
same way.
Electro.
I went from
And
Electro to
I
this.
So,
can't convince you to get a stage compact. You like stage
and
compact?
that's
Yeah, it's better. Who would do that? Give me the button. I want
so,
that
and here's the
button.
point that I'm
Give
making
me
though.
that
So you
button.
just made my point for me. You just made my point for me, and I get it. So with Roland, the thing about the RD is it simplifies functionality, which qualifies it rather than a workstation as a stage piano. Understanding again, they had a V stage, they got the Phantom. They
Mhm.
really don't need an RD, but guess what? It ain't gonna change the fact that I want one. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, RD 3000, 2026. God bless you.
That's funny. We shall see. I mean, a board is a board. A situation is a situation. I would like to see them do some like how they added the vocoder. They updated the mic to bring in a vocoder. With a software update, they did an update that allowed us to change the electromagnetic mechanical noises and all of that stuff in the
Yes.
EP section. You know what I'm saying? They've done some
Man,
software
I'm
updates
still
that'll
on the
fix some
first
stuff.
update. I ain't updated nothing. I ain't updated
Yeah, you need to
shite.
update.
You hear me?
You
I'm
gotta
on
update.
version 1.2. 1.02. Y'all probably on version 3.
I
Ed,
don't
Kenny
even.
needs you, bro.
Yeah, we
Kenny
got to get
needs
them
you, Ed.
situated.
I,
But it's
no,
that's
I'm just
my
saying. No, no. Let
space.
me say this. It gets weird for me when because I don't keep up with the V stage or rolling updates like that. I don't keep up with the
I don't
updates.
really
I just
either,
really
honestly. If I get it
And
easy.
I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. Like again, and I ain't even just pubbing myself. Y'all find y'all somebody who can, especially a person like you, Kenny, who runs a studio, who can come to your studio and do a firmware update on all your boards. Because I'm gonna tell you where it's gonna count. It counts a lot. And Kenny, I know you still playing. You still play out. You play out when you want to, but you play out. So when you go on a gig, it's in our rider that it has to be the latest firmware update. And the only time that I'll change that on our rider is if there's something quirky with the update. And that's because when I go out, I take my keys, thumb drives, so that I can write whatever sounds my guys have made, either at their crib or in our rehearsal space, and so that I can take that and plug it into the board that's at the show and load all their sounds in there. Now, where it gets messy is if it's not on the same firmware. If we have 3.0 and they got 2.5, sometimes it's not going to read. On the first version of the M8X, it won't even show a backup file on there if you don't have the latest firmware. So just like we were having that conversation about updating your computers and stuff like that, it's paramount that you update, that you do the firmware updates, and you make sure that you keep track of that. And then two, it sometimes adds features that fix problems, like the problem that we were having with being able to turn up and down your external boards, different things like that.
It ain't fixed that, because that ain't even a firmware update.
It's definitely gonna be. It need to be a firmware update. I'm saying definitely.
Right.
That's
what
I'm
saying.
it needs to be a firmware update.
I just saying I ain't got the. Hold on. This is where it gets a little tricky for me. Again, y'all do this. We go through this all the time. If you don't spell rolling right in the fucking, excuse me, I'm sorry. If you don't spell rolling right in the file, it is gonna give you. You're gonna be like, man, what's wrong?
Exactly.
If you're
not supposed to spell it at all.
No. You do. No, if you if you if you download it and it's wrong, because I've gotten files that I could not use because it was not spelled right when they copied the file. And I ain't talking. It's something as simple as the R being capital. Yeah, if you
the whole
capitalize the
folder
R,
needs to be capital, doesn't it?
But what do we talk about though?
These
are computers, bro. These are computers.
No, I understand. But listen to what I'm saying though. Now, if I pull it up on my computer, I see all the files in there. But the minute I go and try to download it into the board say, "Excuse me, sir, this does not function with what we." And so then you going back. So after a while, I just be like, "Man, look, do it work? I can go in here. I can fix my patches to be what I want it to be on the fly." In most cases, for me, I'm not using 300 sounds.
No.
I'm not using 5 sounds. I'm using 4 sounds in most scenarios for me. And if I'm on in a tour setting, I have 4 sounds in this board, 4 sounds in that board, 4 sounds in that board, and that's how I move around. I don't be trying to do all that thinking and all that other. If I got a board for pianos, I'm going to have it, or I run a main stage setup that I detail out, and that's how I kind of get around it. But in most cases, we are not. That's why, like, I don't know. Rolling gets a little tricky with that to me, because you have to use a thumb drive. You cannot just dial. You can't dial it directly in from the computer unless it's something y'all know that I don't know.
No,
Y'all
it has to be formatted.
No, they don't have.
Yeah. No, it's all on formatting.
So,
it's all in that route.
So
no,
it's
true.
So then that's where I'm about to start glitching.
That's when you tap out. That's when you.
Yeah. Come on, give me a way to be able, the same way I can use the rolling cloud. Give me a way for the rolling cloud to be able also to update my board. Give me a way for the rolling cloud to.
That's my point. Like you said, I think this is all because I know we get excited. Us as keyboard players, board players, we're all board whores. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love all of these boards. We love what they do. We get excited. That's why I'm like, yo, give us some more love here on this Joker. Make it better in these ways. This board lives a whole lot longer. Whereas if I'm on the V stage and I'm doing my thing and I'm in love with this board and I done thugged it out, I done made it all into what I want it to be, like, and I'm chilling, and then 2027 rolls around, they like, introducing Roland RD-3000, and you like, ooh, something new. You just throw this off the table, and now you want the RD-2000, and now you got to start all over rebuilding with that situation. I'm like, nah.
I'm sending you a stage 4 compact.
Send me
I'm
one.
doing it. I'm sending it to you.
Okay.
I'm sick of it. No, you're gonna have to get rid of that electro mentality. I'm gonna send you a stage 4 compact. I'm gonna matter of fact,
I'll
I'm gonna
take
bring
it.
it to
Hey,
you
but
personally.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it next week.
Wait, it was tax time.
what
Wait.
kind of phone do you own? What kind of phone do you own, John?
What I got the
What kind of phone do you?
iPhone
Yeah, iPhone
Pro
user.
Max. Yeah, Pro
Okay,
Max
Pro Max. Which one?
16.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
he
what
right
you
there.
have before
Where we
that?
going with it?
No, I'm
14.
going
Oh,
somewhere, Doc.
14, 14 Pro
Let,
Max.
let me preach my
I
message.
like that. You skip
So
every 2 years. I got
I
that.
do every 2 years.
okay,
I've been all the way going back to the 8. I just do every 2 years.
That makes sense. That
how
makes
often
sense. I like that because
how often does iPhone come out with a new phone? Every year, right?
Yeah. Well, while we in
So
elementary school, I got
hold
you.
on, let
Make
me
your
preach my
point. No, you're
message,
taking
Doc.
too long.
Let me preach my
what he
message, Doc.
say? What he say?
Let me preach my message, Doc. I'm setting it up,
Go
brother.
ahead.
I'm
You got
with
a whole
Kenny.
organ right
Set
there.
it up.
You can listen with the
Set it up.
talk music.
Okay.
Listen, the
Okay.
reason why I'm making that point is because no, don't give me no weird sounds. I'm church, Doc. Oregon, Reverend.
Nigga, if you
And if
don't
you
get
ain't
to the
gonna give me
point, what
Baptist.
is the point you trying to make?
But listen, the point that I'm making is that everybody doesn't update their iPhone every year. Okay. You got some people like you. Okay, that sounds terrible. So hold on. So you got some people, and even with this Electro 7, like it has to be a significant update for people to it has to be a significant
Yeah.
change for people to update. But
Yeah.
there's your person that has the RD 800 that wants to update to a new RD, and they've been looking at the RD 2000, but they're also like, the RD 2000 has been out for umpteen years. I'm gonna wait and see what else they come out with. I don't want a Fender. I don't want a V stage. I don't want to go away from having XYZ that I have on my RD 800. So I'm gonna wait for them to come out with another RD. Those are the people that I'm talking about. We saw the amount of musicians there are in the world. Millions,
Oh, yeah,
hundreds of
bro.
millions musicians. So when you get to that situation, you can come out with a variation of boards. And again, speaking to the Nord situation that we were talking about, they kind of overlap. But again, you reduce the functionality. You reduce, like, you're not going to get functionality, phantom functionality out of a V stage, but you're not going to get that out of a RD either. It's different. It's use case. So you may not want no RD, but
You
the
want
next
RD.
man probably does.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to see what they would come up with this lineup. Because I think there's some value there. I think there's some value there. I think there's some points that they can accentuate. And I mean, and if they don't, the RD, I mean the V stage is standing on its own 2 feet, but the V stage is not in the RD lineup. It's in the V.
No, it's not.
It's in the V lineup.
I mean,
the
I get
VP
it.
lineup. VP is what it is. Yeah.
I'm just throwing what I think, in the hat, and it's worth about what it's worth, about 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? It's just my opinion on it. Just think it should be. We get some updates here instead of putting it all into a new joint. But they got a big team, I'm pretty sure, and they're working on multiple things at the same time. So that's just the way R&D works.
I mean, they starting out good, and people are waking up to it too. People are waking up to it.
So
like,
I got a question. So here's my question, and I kind of want to land here, right? So
yeah.
If we had to do here's what I want to say. I don't even have a question. I got a statement. The statement is there is no perfection in preference, right? You're gonna always have a board that you have to do some work to, or you can do better, or it can become better. They can always make a better iteration of one board to the next in that line of boards, right? But my statement is this: declutter the spaces that are cluttered with the same amount of boards, or the same. Where Roland loses me every time is it does not matter about functionality when you can cross Roland Cloud and dang near use everything but a few sounds in every board, right? And so then, as I have, and I'm not making this up, and I'm not trying to praise or what I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
praise the Lord.
6. No. I have 15 rolling keyboards, and all of them cross function and kind of do the same thing. You can kind of use them all in. in the same spaces. So then when we start getting into now we just getting into preference when it comes to
Yeah.
that RD conversation and the V stage. And the reason why I think the preference is there simply because the RD could have been the cherry popper
Mm.
for Sheridan, and Sheridan has had the most experience. And when I say I'm not being
No, I know
weird.
what you're saying.
I'm
I got
saying
what you're saying.
that could have been the board where Sheridan had his most success, his most that did it for him, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I say about this V stage is this though. This V stage for me does a lot more than the RD when it comes to the actual playability, right?
Hmm.
But I do believe that it's a cross function. I believe that the same thing that I could do in the RD
Exactly.
2000 is the same thing I could
Exactly.
do in the B stage.
That was. I
That's
think that
why
was my
that's
original
where I
point.
land with that point.
I think that was my
Yeah, you could do
original
the
point.
same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But I
So
mean,
if I had a
tomato,
B
tomato. But
stage at a gig, or if I had a B stage at a gig, I can up my thumb drive, and as long as it's spelled rolling the right way and not a capital R, I can get the same functionality out of that
facts.
board with faders. And if I got okay, you got a RD, I can use that. Here you go. I got a
Facts.
B stage here. So it's about knowing that Roland really just they be getting you with
Hmm.
the different line of boards, but you could do the same
They all
thing
do.
across the
Yeah.
boards.
Yeah. Nor does the
Not
They
same
all
all
of them.
exact
do.
thing. Yeah. Nor does the
No,
same
no,
I
thing.
mean,
no,
all the
not
companies.
not
Well,
not not
lot of
all
the
of them.
companies. A lot of the companies. I won't say all of them. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
Right.
of the companies. One thing
Right.
I
but
will
you're right.
say,
A lot of
and
the
I'll probably
main
be,
companies,
That's
yes.
what they're doing. Yeah. They milking. They
and one
milking
thing I will
every
say,
single
and a
thing
lot,
out of
I'll probably be dropping this video tomorrow. Is one thing that we haven't talked about in the rolling lineup. John, we talked about this briefly, but that the System 8 was discontinued last
it.
year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah. That
and
was.
the thing with that is it speaks, and the reason why I'm bringing it up now is because it speaks directly to what Kenny was just saying as far as cross functionality. And I have a video, John. I don't want to hear nothing.
I'm waiting on
Why
it.
don't we
About
That's
have,
all I got to
the
say.
next,
why did they
the
take the
next,
system?
the
Why did they
next,
take the system made away from us?
man,
They just
because I
discontinued.
don't know. I don't know. I like the fact that you can pick that thing up with one hand and throw it
Yeah.
under your arm, and it's a dope board. But I think the successors to the System 8, we're gonna call them the System 9, possibly, but no. The Jupiter X, fireboard.
Hmm.
That board is fire, and you're starting to see it a lot more. I think
Yeah.
there's confusion there though, because a lot of people think the Jupiter X is the successor to the Jupiter 80 when it is not
Yeah. It's
the
not. No.
successor to
It's a
the Jupiter
different
80.
board.
It is not.
Hmm.
There is no successor to the Jupiter 80. God be praised. It's
I
the
gotta be
Jupiter X
praised.
is the successor, in my opinion, to the System 8. But then here's where the confusion comes in, Kenny. You have the Juno X.
That's what I was just
Where does
about to
that
mention. The
fall?
Juno X. I'm
That
like Juno
Yeah,
X
that
pops in
falls
the
in the middle of
conversation.
that.
Well,
They
So
just keep doing stuff.
well, wait, I got a question. But then you got the JDXA.
Yeah.
well, the JDXA is
And
out
then
of
you got the
production, and
JDXI.
The JDXA and JDXI, they're out of production. I think the
Yeah.
Jupiter X was the true successor to the JDXA and JDXI because you have the Jupiter XM and the
Hmm.
Jupiter X.
Yeah. I can see that.
Powerful boards, powerful boards. They are crazy. Yeah, I need to do some more videos on them.
What
I'm just saying, but
what is
I'm
what is
probably
the
gonna
power?
drop this
Wait,
video
what was the
tomorrow.
powerful board? What was the powerful board? Say that
I'm
again.
talking about the Jupiter.
What we
Jupiter
talking about?
X and
Oh
XM.
yeah, the Jupiter X is crazy. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I
yeah,
don't
so
have the
they
XM, but the
fall in
X is crazy.
line. They fall in line with the System 8. They fall closest in line with the System 8. I still don't know why Roland made that decision because the System 8 is just a more portable board. But I will say on that Rolling Cloud, Doc, that Jupiter 80, I mean that System 8
Yeah.
plug-in
System 8 plug-in.
on the
Yeah.
Rolling Cloud,
Maybe that's why they
it is
discontinued it.
true to form. What I think they should have done, John, is put the System 8 functionality or made a successor in the Gaia 2.
Oh,
If they would have put the
absolutely.
power from the
Absolutely.
System 8 in the doggone Gaia 2, come on,
These
Doc.
these two
Come on, Reverend.
keyboards is the same. These are the same keyboards, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to be
Exactly.
clear. They
Nah.
are
The
exact.
the JDXA has JBSR 80. They have they have regular sounds in there.
Which
so
one in
the
in the XA? Yeah, it has just pads and
is
strings.
it
Is
And
that
XA or
again,
XI? Which is the bigger one? The A.
A.
this
Yeah,
the A?
yeah.
So the
Yeah,
Because I
the
got the
JDXA, the
I.
thing about JDXA, they were more intentional about doing a combination of digital and a combination of the digital and the analog modeling sounds, right? So you have some of those sounds from the JVSR 80. Did I say that right? Yeah, JVSR 80
and and
sounds
and
in
when you
there.
done with that, Sheridan, once you finish creating your patches in the JDXA,
Uh-huh.
you can't use them same patches in the System 8. Oh, okay.
I
All
don't
right.
know. I don't think you
No,
can
Maybe
hold
you
the
they both
two
can.
because
Zen-Core
it's two
boards,
different
right?
generations.
Yeah, you
No, they're
can.
not
Yeah.
Zen-Core.
They're
Neither
not
one of
Zen-Core
those are
boards. Neither one
Zen-Core.
of Zen-Core boards. Okay.
No, no,
Absolutely
no, no.
not.
I'm saying
So,
no. I'm saying you can't. I'm saying you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you
You've
can.
done it. You
I've
you
seen it
you
done.
Ed, can you verify
Yes,
that?
yeah. Verify that.
Different
you can
architecture
use the
and
same
engine, so you
sounds,
cannot. You can't. Ed just verified it. You cannot use
bro.
the
No,
same
you know they're
sounds in
not.
the System 8. And so
Well,
you
that's
can
what I was
model the
wondering.
same sounds. You can build the same sounds from the same
You can
uh
build it.
same fundamental functionality, but you can't save a sound in a JDXA and port it over with the
No, no,
thumb
no, no. You
drive
can't. No, you
into
can't
the.
save them. But what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. I've seen both of these boards in real life situations, and I said, wait, why is he playing orchestra hits on both of them boards and they both sound the damn same?
You can't play orchestra hits on the System 8. It doesn't have it. It's analog modeling. It doesn't have any.
I,
It
Maybe he
has
had it.
all
Maybe he had it.
analog
Maybe
I'm
the
sounds.
t-
one you saw. Maybe he had it MIDI or something.
he might have had it. He might have had it running through the rolling cloud or something. But I said, why is he playing? How? Because I looked for
But
him up and down. Couldn't find.
and this is another thing that I'll verify that
Take these down.
Ed can verify for me. And this is the thing about it with this System 8 is the System 8 does it so good. System 8 does the audio over USB.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it does it effectively.
That's the one
And
board I
then
haven't picked
too,
up
which
yet.
I don't know why you would need this. This is
This the
gluttony,
board I'm gonna
but
use. This the board I'm gonna use if I'm gonna use a vocoder. I'm not using my
What's that? The I.
JDXI.
yes.
That's the one I got. I got
I'm
the
gonna tell you what's
XI.
spanking that
Hmm.
board though. What's smacking that board is the
The XM.
doggone Jupiter XM,
I knew you was going to say that.
bro.
What you say?
And
What
I'm
you
gonna tell
say?
you why.
Why you sound like a YN?
Kenny, can you hear me, player? Kenny, can you hear me, player?
Shut up, bro. I'm done with you. Put that up.
The thing
I'm about to
about
mute
He
the
you.
wrote a
Jupiter
song.
XM is
I'm
you
gonna
have
mute
the
you.
exact
That's what I'm
same
about to do.
functionality. I'm gonna see if I can pick this board up if it ain't plugged up into nothing. You have the exact same functionality as the Jupiter X, but it's in this small form factor right here. Ain't that baby pretty?
Yeah,
Ain't
Yes,
that
man.
baby
yeah.
pretty? You got USB, and the USB functionality in this. Kenny, I was sitting in the airport. You see the bottom of that? You can
Oh
use
yeah, the
batteries with
batteries.
this.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was sitting in the airport tracking tracking colors.
Mm-hmm.
16 tracks from this one USB cable. That's all I had in my headphones, and the headphone jack is in the front of the board. Like, I'm not trying to look. I know I feel like I'm on the Home Shopping Network, but I just like these are quality boards. And the point that I'm trying to make is with this, maybe the reason why they discontinued, which I feel like they did a little bit too premature. Maybe the reason why they discontinued the System 8 is because of the advancement of the technology. Because we're moving. It does not have USB-C on here. But
Maybe a System 9 is coming out. Maybe a next iteration of it is coming out. It may not be called a System 9, but it might be called something else. You know what I mean?
I feel like the X covers it.
System JDXA.
Right.
I
The
feel like the X covers it.
RDJX
But
V
But
synth.
I will say one thing I will say about Roland, and again, we've made this point. We probably overexhausted this point, but I'm not going to stop. Is that tech with the USB-C? It's beating everybody. It's kicking everybody's tail. That Gaia 2
agree.
is bus powered via USB-C.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're not seeing that. I can power the Gaia 2 with
Yeah.
my iPad.
With the iPad. Yeah,
You're
no,
not
I'll
seeing
say
that.
it's a no, it's a the USB-C is the game changer. That's why one of the things that I had to check for Nord on is that they haven't built that functionality. And if like it's like somebody else said earlier in the stream, you paying 6 bands, 5, 6 bands, even 4 bands for these boards, and you can't get audio over USB. You know what I mean? That's
But
even
that's the
Yamaha is
same
doing
thing.
it.
I'm going back to my Bugatti. You can't get over 15 miles to a gallon.
So you see,
Eh,
so
It's
you think Nord is playing the luxury brand game, 100%.
I
That's what they
I
are. They
think
just see them
yeah,
as
yeah,
they see
yeah, yeah,
themselves as
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
luxury
yeah, yeah,
brand,
yeah.
and they're not really trying
Yeah,
to.
I
Because
think
Apple is like that, Bugatti is like that. They're not trying to give. They're not trying to talk to the regular kids. They just like, nah, you gotta have a certain
yeah.
level of status if you want this.
And
So
let me
yeah,
tell you, I gotta say this, man. If Nord didn't get as many black musicians in the last past 5 to 8 years, we wouldn't see them as much as we see them.
I agree.
I'll just be honest.
Not in our
I
I
churches,
mean,
totally agree.
not in
so
the black church. Absolutely not.
yeah.
No, I totally
So
agree.
so when Nord came over, Nord played the game, and it's just me being honest, and I'm just gonna say it, and I
It's an
understand they
uncomfortable
played
truth.
the game. Yeah, they played on the heartstrings because of that racism conversation that was
They
going
did.
on between the whole court and everything. And when they brought all the black guys over, that it brought them over here. But I want to be clear. I've been playing Nord boards for at this point almost 10 years. So I was a fan of Nord boards before they even got to that, right? However, However, I just want to be clear that when you look at the people in the Nord community, is not a lot of us. We see
No, it's
us,
not.
they put us out front.
Yeah.
But when you see the people that's playing, first of all, it's not it's a lot of Americans playing that board, but it's a lot of guys in the UK
Oh
playing
yeah,
that
yeah,
board.
bro.
It
Like
ain't a
for
lot of us.
For sure.
Yeah. And
yeah.
and that's
Well,
the
I'm gonna go
same
on and say
thing
it. I've
with
been playing
the
these Nord
Dixie.
boards
You said what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
since
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
said
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna go on and say it. I've been playing these Nord boards since '99, 2000. Doc, the
Not for
99,
the
2000.
Yeah.
992,000
Yes,
Cash
sir.
Yeah,
Money
no,
Records,
I
Cash
don't have
Money
that, I don't
Sheridan.
have the same testimony, but I do know that the
Nah, I
first
was
time that I was
borrowing the one that I
introduced
was playing.
into the first time that I was introduced to a Nord board was probably maybe 2010, maybe '09, 2010, and it was an Electro. And I didn't know no better.
Yes, Viscount.
Um but I do agree. So like you not Nord. The only reason why I said what I said about Nord and when I was at the Nord booth was I had a Sheridan moment, and I didn't stop to think. Nord do not care about lower class musicians. Nord care about the people who can afford them. You gonna go get it. You
Hold on,
gonna go get
what's
it,
the
and
Sheridan
that's just what
moment?
it. You know,
Uh,
Sheridan, how you always taking up for musicians who have like budget friendly musicians. You always
uh,
take up for 'em. Yeah.
I'm
I
always gonna
and so
take
when
up
I
for
made
him.
that comment, yeah, and when I made that comment, I wasn't thinking budget. I was thinking like, oh, if y'all gonna do something, just let me give y'all something to complain about. But the truth of the matter is, if you're gonna buy a Nord, you're gonna buy a Nord. And
I agree.
and I want to be clear. I saw us over there, but I didn't see us talking to the reps. The people who I saw talking to the reps was Asians, Hispanics, the whites. It wasn't a lot of us. You know what we was doing at the Nord booth? Hold on, let's be very clear. You know what we was doing at the Nord booth? Playing and shaking hands with our homies,
It was the hangout spot.
putting the
Hey, bro.
headphones on. Yeah, it was like, yeah,
This
we went over
dude
there trying
Brian,
to. We went over
this
there.
I
dude
know
Brian
that's all,
Williams
bro.
said
He
you
put
play
me up.
HOA fees.
That's all
That's
facts, though.
facts.
No, no, you
You
gonna pay.
play,
You
you
gonna pay.
pay
You gonna pay
HOA
for it. But
fees.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. And then you gonna understand why people who have Nords don't care about Yamaha.
Mm,
Because when it comes down to them caring about even it's something about the way this piano sound that you are not gonna get out of a Yamaha. The
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
electric pianos, the organ, and
Period.
and you don't hear you don't hear the conversation about Roland and Nord so much until this V stage came out because the layout was so similar to the stage three. But you weren't
Hmm.
really hearing that conversation. Nobody screams about Nord synths, but everybody screams about Nord pianos, Nord organ, and Nord. So where they don't have a big booty, they got pretty legs and big titties. and that's that Oregon,
No.
that's that EP, and that's that, I'm just being
Yeah.
honest. And
Hey.
maybe it might be the titties because they pianos is a big booty. Okay.
That's funny, bro. No, that's hilarious. No, this
But
is dope, man.
Sheridan gonna scold me after this too. He was like, "Man, you can't be talking about titties and booties, man." He did that.
Hey man,
Hey, hey, we
You
go.
can't talk about titties and booties.
That's funny. Hey,
I'm
that's
going. I'm
PG.
going to heaven, man.
It's funny. No, man, no, this is where it is, Kenny, man. It's just that's the perfect analogy though. Nah, this is dope, man. We appreciate you guys for hanging out. Like we've been live now. Man, it gets away from us. Y'all don't understand. We have these conversations all day, every day, off camera.
Every day, yeah.
Like, like Kenny will call me 3, 4 times a day. He'd be like, man, so what you doing? Ah, man, I'm working on this, but man, let me tell you something about this V stage, man. Same for Sheridan. We'll sit, me and Sheridan call me. We start
Wait,
talking
wait,
about
wait, wait. We
LFOs.
cannot leave this conversation. Hold on. We can't
Uh-huh.
leave this conversation without talking about how Native Instrument dropped the ball the way they
We
did.
could cover it. We can cover that real quick. Yeah, go ahead. What is your vibe on that? Because have you had a chance to dissect the information? I've exhausted it on my
I,
channel over the last like week. But what you
I
thinking?
have, and I think what happened was they bit off more than they could chew. Not only did they bite off more than they can chew, I think what happens is we have a lot of rip-offs. I think this is where we get into that conversation of software instruments. There's
Yeah,
there's more people who have native instruments,
come on.
control, contact, all of that that they have, and they do not have. They not paying a subscription. They did not buy the real version, the
No, for
ultimate
real.
instruments and all of that. First of all, let me tell you, when y'all start talking about this software instruments, I do remember that the ultimate pack was like almost $1,200.
No, it
And
was
that was like
15 at one
one
point.
tier. Yeah, no, I'm saying that was one tier beneath that was the one tier beneath the extreme that you can
Oh
go
yeah, yeah,
to, right?
yeah.
And so you had a $700, you had a $1,200, and you had a $1,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
And ain't nobody buying that. That came with the USB, it came with all of the software cracks
Mm-hmm.
and all that other stuff. So people was not paying that money, right? And for
Mm-hmm.
them to be $300 million in debt and only
300
have
mil.
made a $25 million profit, I wouldn't be shocked if the doors is closed on that thing by the end of the summer. And
Well,
that's
I,
it.
I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Because you had private equity that got involved in 21. So 21, we need to really do a deep dive on is pre post COVID era on these music companies because Fender got bought out. Not Fender. I'm sorry. Personas got bought out by Fender in 21.
Fender
Um,
Studio,
Fender
hey.
That
Studio,
was that
bro.
was probably a blessing for them because
Bro,
golly,
like so
personas
many of these
they've been
companies,
they've been riding the line
2021
for
was like the
years.
year. 2021 was like the year of like mergers and acquisitions that none of us were paying attention to because we were so diverted with what was going on with COVID and we couldn't go outside and all of that. But behind the
Moog.
scenes, they was doing Moog sold. Everybody was selling all around in that time. In
Wait,
music was buying
Roland,
everybody.
Roland came up. I don't know
Roland
Nah,
who
they
bought DW.
who-
Roland bought DW. Who else did Roland bought? They bought
not just
somebody
Roland
else.
DW.
bought Roland bought like 12 companies.
Yeah,
It wasn't just DW.
yeah.
Roland went crazy.
They went crazy
Hold on,
cleaning
we're
up.
going to
In
see.
music went crazy, buying up a bunch of
In
joints.
music.
They own because in music
Rick,
Yeah,
owns
Rick,
Moog, they own Akai, they own Alesis, they own M Audio. So it's a big situation, and a lot of them they bought. So what I understand that happened with the NI situation was they bought it. This company called the Francisco Brothers bought the company in '01. No, sorry, 21 rather. They bought the controlling share in that company, and then they leveraged that brand to purchase Isotope, Plug-in Alliance, um, Brainworks, and a few other of these little small companies, and tried to merge them in and inflate. Their goal was to their private equity is like the house flippers of the market. Of our market. They buy these companies up, inflate them, try to connect them, try to build an ecosystem, get everybody on subscriptions, and then they try to flip it to the next private equity company for whatever $1 billion or whatever. They was trying to make a money play on that, and so they inflated the debt up to 300 million over the last 2 or 3 years, probably in conjunction with whatever else was going on. But I've done a lot of the deep dive stuff. If y'all want to get into like all of the paper trail and all of that, I got a video live on my channel that I did I think it was Friday, where we literally unpacked all of the documents, all of the ins and outs, the merger, all of that stuff. I literally took an hour and some change and went through line by line. But it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think they're going to close up by the summertime, Kenny. I don't think they popping out by then. I think what's going to happen is they're going to restructure that situation. And there's another company that's in play that was trying to buy Native right before they went into an insolvency situation. And so
Is it in music?
What?
it's
Because
not
I
in
know
music.
in music is salivating.
No, it's
What?
not in music.
No. But let me say this real fast. I just want to say this, and I'm gonna jump out the way. You know what's crazy about all of that? When you look at the profit to the gain loss,
Yeah,
you have to come in a company that's like an Amazon or a multi-trillion-dollar company who can
to
afford
carry
to
that kind of
take
debt.
on, yeah, that kind of debt, and you're not gonna it's almost hard to recover. And here's why I'm gonna say it's almost hard to recover. Because first of all, if we look at what Native Instruments has to offer, although they have a lot of great things, they don't have that one thing that make us say, I need Native Instruments.
Well,
Now, they
contacts is
have
the
a
thing.
bunch of like, I get that. No, I understand. But again, this is what I'm saying. Like, by time you got contact, everything was ripped off. Everybody can get the strings. Everybody can get that Alicia Keys. Everybody
Mm,
can get those sounds. So them sounds was not just exclusive. There was no exclusivity. There was no security around it. There was nothing that made it Ravenscroft, where Ravenscroft
yeah,
for a while was hard to, you couldn't get it. You
yeah,
could
yeah,
not get it.
yeah,
It wasn't no stealing that. It wasn't a whole lot of sharing that. It wasn't no crossing of
yeah.
the. And once they found out how to rip it off, you once you got contact, there was no, you didn't really have to pay for contact.
No,
Contact
you
was
didn't.
like the free DAW, for lack of better words. And then
Yeah,
you start downloading all the sounds and just kind of making it make sense. They did not have a good security measure in place to stop people from stealing it. Right.
exactly.
So then when you look that they only made 25 million, but they $300 million in debt.
Not only that, they got 1.8 million users on their site. So they got almost 2 million people that are users, NI users, like on the website. Think about that. That's the
Yeah.
average of $25 million is the average of $10 per user. That's the average.
Yes.
If you that, but they don't sell $10 products. They sell hundreds of dollars and
They
thousands
don't.
of dollars worth of
And
hardware.
so that was my next, but that was my
So
next point.
everybody's
My
not
next
buying, like
point
you said.
was their products was not only was it not sacred. Let's say that I'm gonna use my church
Yeah.
words now. Not only was it not sacred to the brand, but it was not affordable to the consumer.
Hmm.
So, like, as in a UA where you have like the Spark, where you can get the subscription type of deal, where you can pay like $150 a year or $79 or whatever.
So you think they
It was
came
never
too
really
late to the
like that.
subscription game? You think they came too late to the subscription
Yeah,
game?
For
Because
oh,
they
them to
tried it.
be
absolutely.
innovators,
Yeah,
for them to be innovators, they were innovators. They are one of the innovators
yeah.
in software technology.
Yeah,
Like back before
98. Yeah,
it
they
was
dropped in
popular.
96. I think
So
that's when they started. 40,
yeah,
literally
so
30 years
for
ago.
them to be that far ahead of the game and not have a subscription model, as soon as they saw it, they should have jumped on it and made people mad, but they would have made that money back. And you can do it in a smart way because, again, like Kenny said, you got like $150 a year. Like when you break that down for people and people say they see, well, I'm only paying, a little bit over
But I
ten
think
dollars a
it's
month.
the as speaking from a software developer company, what happens is what you find is trying to, like, that goes back to the software piracy thing that Kenny was talking about. If they haven't plugged that hole yet on how to stop people from like proliferating that, because that's really where the big problem is, whether people realize it or not. And I have to get on my soapbox. I know Sheridan gets on soapboxes all the time and goes
go
on
crazy.
rants. My rant on this whole thing, especially as a software developer, people don't understand how much piracy actually does damage to our industry. You know what I'm saying? When you look at a piece of software and you go, man, that's $150, man. That's too expensive, man. Let me call my homeboy. This got it for sale for 25. Or let me get the homie hookup on it. What happens is that's $150 that didn't go into that company's bottom line. Guess what? They got employees. They got payroll taxes. They got to pay the software developers. They got to pay the taxes. They got to pay their insurance. So
So
what
here's how you
happens
get
when a
around it,
company
though.
but here's what let me finish this. So what happens is when a company can't afford to meet all of those demands because revenue didn't land where it needed to land for that year, they got to borrow money to make up. And you keep borrowing money and you keep borrowing money and you keep borrowing money and you keep washing, rinsing, and repeating. You keep adding to the till because because while the consumer, you got to keep the thing running, you got to keep the software update, you got to keep the software running, you got to keep the whole game running, you got to pay people or you got to fire people. You know what I mean? You got to get down more lean. It's a whole game. And so what happens is, I believe what happened is by the time they got in trouble in 2019, that was the impetus right before COVID. And then that's when they started looking for a buyer because they're like, we need help. We got to figure this out. And so that's when
So
Francisco
John, let
jumped
me
in
say
and was
this.
like, what's up? Go ahead.
They probably got in trouble more
Way
like
before that.
2015 is when it,
Yeah.
yeah, and 2019 is when it all came to a head.
Yeah.
Like you're not filling in holes. You know you got a leak when you start seeing the water problem,
Facts.
but
Yeah.
then you don't try to go fix it when you see, oh, it's a puddle. Where's the puddle card?
Mm-hmm.
So that's I just wanted to throw that
No,
in.
no,
Go
no. That's
ahead, go
perfect.
crazy.
That's
So
perfect. So go ahead, Sharon. What was
the
about to say?
point to it all, though, for me is you can plug those holes up by developing a subscription model. The reason being is because if I didn't pay that monthly fee for Pro Tools, even when I put that
Yeah, yeah,
iLock
yeah.
in my computer, you
So,
ain't got access to that.
and I'm gonna
And
speak
that's
to you that.
also going to lock up the app. It's going to put extra security on the app to
Exactly.
where it can't be pirated. And
But
you can
do
tell
you
me
know
if I'm
who
wrong because
owns,
you do the
owns
development.
Avid? You know who owns Avid and who's connected with Avid?
Avid.
Or Avid? Yeah, Avid. Lord have mercy. Avid. Pace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
iLock.
Yeah. Oh, they
Though
do?
there, yes. So
That's
just what I'm
hilarious.
saying. So
That's
like when you
hilarious.
start looking at these companies, it sounds that it's running a software company. I understand because I've had the same question when people are asking me about subscription service. Like, can we get your stores on subscription? I'm working on it. And it is
Yeah.
way more complicated than it sounds. It sounds like, oh yeah, because
And no,
there's a whole lot of
absolutely.
gooky, geeky stuff that's going on in the back end that you got to figure out on the
Mhm.
server. And then if somebody hacks the server, then your whole server goes
Cybersecurity.
down.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
about when you've had those situations where, like when Pro Tools has even had that situation when their cloud goes down. Oh, bro,
Hmm.
Twitter
You
X
can't
is
do
lit up.
nothing.
You can't open up the app. You can't
Yeah.
get your mix done. So there's a lot of mitigated risk in there that
But
these companies are
Yeah.
John,
dealing
can
with.
I can I not I'm not being the devil's advocate. I'm gonna just be the rich man to the rich man.
That's funny.
They have the same amount of exposure and customer base as an Avid. They have the same
Hmm.
amount of customer base as most of these major I think that they thought they was doing something when they came out with you had to go get that big
Hmm.
box.
Hmm.
And it came with a little it came with a hard drive and it
Yeah,
came
I
with a
remember that.
thumb
Yeah,
drive. Y'all remember that?
Hmm.
They thought they was ahead of the curve,
That's where they
and
lost.
everybody else started to because they like okay,
and then
I'm
they
getting
Because
pivoted
you
this
into
got some
hardware.
hard
hardware.
drive.
They pivoted
Yep.
into
If you got
Yeah.
hardware
hardware,
to
and
hack, yep,
hardware is
it's
miles
falling.
more expensive to maintain and run. Ask me, I know because I'm actually considering moving into some hardware. Full stop. I'm investigating. I'm curious, and I'm looking at what it's going to cost me to manufacture some certain things, and it's like, man, that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of
But it will
overhead, and
also,
that's a lot of risk that I have to take on in order to go there. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be willing to step into that
But
box, and it's a
but do
different
you
but
conversation.
remember though, John?
wouldn't it be more volatile though? Because
Way more volatile.
if I have to access a server to hack you versus having the hackable piece in my hand,
Hmm.
ain't that's like way more volatile. So that's hubris right there, thinking that if I give them this and I charge them this, then it's gonna be that.
But
But I
Yeah.
also can't speak to, because Kenny has a great point. They have the same customer base and the same access and the same size company as like an Avid. So if you flip over to like a Steven Slate's the same thing.
But
I don't
Slate
pay that
started out.
15. I'm out.
He started out not. He got in there early in the game in subscription. He was one of the first to the
Have
subscription
some
market.
conversations with the competitors.
Yeah, he was. But but see, it's a. And the other thing about subscription services, yes, when you got a lot of content like Native had, I think I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think they should have moved and pivoted to it way, 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 way earlier. They waited too late. Whatever the case of the game with them and their leadership, they just thought we don't want to do subscription. We don't want to da da da. We don't want to take that on. They were just going to keep playing it out with the hardware and the
Well, they
Somebody
ain't
was
software
taking nothing off.
stealing money, man. Somebody was
Shit.
stealing money. I
or
just
something.
call a spade a
Funny.
spade. Somebody was, or
That's
let
funny.
me say this: if they wasn't stealing money, somebody was misappropriating funds. Because at the end of the day, to get to get $300 million in debt, and to have only, if you're looking at your ROI, now come on, John, let's talk
Hmm.
business.
Yeah.
Who do you have in these back rooms that's saying, hey, you know what? Let's add an extra $100,000 to get $100,000 out of debt, so we
Mm-mm.
can get back to zero. So let's put $100 million. Let's put $100 million
Yeah.
into software.
Hmm.
Let's put
Hmm.
$100 million into hardware now, because software. And then when you started seeing that the contact started coming out with the controllers and the MIDI port, and then you started looking at like, so why would I buy that when I got a MIDI keyboard already?
Yeah. There was
What is
it
the
was
Hmm.
functionality of a control that's going to make so much
I
more
could see
sense
how
when
they
I can
got there.
use
No, I could see how they
I'm
got
gonna
there.
tell
How
you
they
who
got
one
there
upped
was
them too. Akai one upped them too with the MPK.
a tie. It was more than a con. It
no,
was,
see,
bro.
I
Who was
mean,
the
just on and
M
on for that
Audio
particular.
was the one. M Audio was the one who was one upping everybody because it was cheaper and it was easier to use. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
absolutely. Now, what I was going to say is like this is what convinced them to move into hardware. So somewhere
The
around
machine.
2009, they came. This was the I don't Tractor may have been their first. I got to do my research on which was the first, but this was definitely one of the more acclaimed. They beat Akai to the market on a beat machine, on a digital beat machine, bringing it into the computer, a controller, 16 pads, plug it to your computer, and go crazy. They beat Akai to the market in this. Akai didn't come out with their software until like 16 really got into the game.
Are
But
you sure?
the success of this, when they did it with Machine, they said, you know what?
Hmm.
We can do this with a MIDI controller. Why don't we do the same thing with Contact? Why don't we just make it into a hardware board?
But
And they did the connection. And that
John,
was
but I
probably
get
one of
that.
their
But what
mistakes.
I'm saying is,
I'm saying it's a mistake.
this is why I said. This is why, and I agree
They
with you. This is
did.
why I'm agreeing that it's a mistake, and I'll tell you why it's a mistake. Simply because if you were seeing that your software, which is your creme de la creme, is not moving in that direction, what make you think that the hardware? Because I'm gonna tell you, when the Kai came out and
Hmm.
started putting out their digital, people was going back to that nostalgia of the
Yeah,
MPC.
they were.
And then you had all of these producers who was like, Machine is dope, but Machine was a little complicated. And
It
if they
was.
knew their way around if
Hmm.
they knew their way around any
Yeah.
form of the NPC, then when NPC had came out with the iPad version, and then when they came out with all of these
I
different
remember that.
Yeah, I remember
different
the iPad version.
variations.
Yep.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
So
Yep.
so what I'm saying is this. I'm not in their back rooms to tell them that somebody was misappropriating funds, but somebody should have said, okay, wait a minute. We need the menu has too much food on it. We
Hmm.
need to slow down where we are because we're bleeding, and
Yeah.
we're bleeding in multiple places. Where else are we bleeding at? We're bleeding the fact that people are still stealing the
Hmm.
things that they actually want.
Hmm.
Nobody was stealing controllers. Nobody was stealing the little. Nobody was stealing the MIDI keyboards.
Yeah.
People was stealing the
The software.
sounds.
Yeah.
And now let me tell you where it's
Hmm.
gonna
All
hurt.
facts, no
This
printer.
is this is where it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt because again, at the end of the day, their sounds was what drew us to them.
Hmm. All
Yep.
facts, no printer.
So, so nobody said, "Hey, let's build." If I'm going to take $100 million, I'm not throwing it at hardware. I'm throwing it into cybersecurity.
I think they threw it in the software and hardware, and they also threw the other thing that they did when the private equity company got in. They threw it into acquisitions,
Absolutely,
and then they
absolutely.
then they
That go
tried to
your
do the
they go your
then
under 100. They go your 300.
Exactly. They threw it into acquisitions, and then they decided, let's try to build Brainworks, Isotope, all of these companies. Let's go ahead and create an ecosystem that can serve more
Yeah.
people, and then let's charge for it. Let's run up the value. We got 1.8 million users. If we get 10% of them to get on the subscription, then we can up the valuation. Then we can flip this joint into a bigger private equity firm for $1 billion or whatever. Pay off the debt and
So
then
now,
pocket the rest. That was the
here's
play.
my here's my uneducated opinion, but a very wise move, if anything.
Yeah.
You go and you team up with a UA or an Apple, or I really would team up with Apple, and I'll tell you
Apple
why.
got the
I
capital.
would team up with Apple. Apple on not only do they have the capital, but everybody uses that logic. If you got a Mac
Main
computer,
stage.
you're gonna use Logic. And if Logic has the worst sounds that comes known to man stock in there. You
That's
could get a
funny.
good organ, but everything else is
That's
super
okay.
trash, right?
Alchemy.
And what
Alchemy is
happened?
dope.
Excuse me.
Alchemy is dope.
Alchemy.
He
Listen,
said you
listen,
sneeze.
listen,
He said
listen. I said what I said. When it
no.
comes down to it, if you merge there or if they acquire you, that's gonna save native brand
Absolutely,
right
but
there.
see, Apple didn't want it. Apple isn't interested in partnership partnership at that level. Otherwise, you would see them partnering up and shaking hands with a lot of these other companies. The second part about that, Native actually tried partnering up. They just did a partnership a couple of years or a year or so ago. I think it was last year. They partnered up with Akai. They started like distributing Contact in the MPC
And
line.
Akai
Then
said, "Get me out of here."
and then they did the same thing with Pro Tools. They did a deal with Pro Tools last year, and they started like distributing bundling native instruments with Pro Tools. So they were trying to merge, but I think it was still too late in the game.
I was
think
gonna
they were
say
still
what that
too
Yeah.
good
late.
prophet is JoJo say.
No
It's
matter
too
where
little,
we
too late.
yeah, no
Yeah.
matter where you see where it went too far, where they went wrong, whether it was with acquisitions, whether it was with subscriptions, whether it was with hardware,
I agree.
whether it was with that,
No, I agree.
it was just all too late. They decided to do all of this stuff too late, and now they're in a situation
But
where
Hey
they're
Kenny, you
going
getting
down.
where
pushback on that, and I definitely I gotta backpedal to what Kenny was saying. I vehemently disagree with you, brother. I don't know if you haven't dug deep enough in Logic's sounds or what,
wait,
but
wait,
the
wait,
way
wait, wait,
Logic,
wait, wait.
when you were saying Logic
Don't
has some of
disagree
the
with me.
worst.
Just make a point, nigga. Don't disagree with me. Just make your point.
No, I disagree
Don't
with you. They
disagree.
have amazing
Listen,
Sounds. Logic has come up so
but
hard. The new
and
Logic
Oh yeah, the new
Studio,
pianos and
and
stuff
brand.
is
But
dope.
I understand the point that you're
listen.
making. If they did get with
That's
native
all I was
instruments,
saying to
then
make
it
a
would make
point.
their product
It
better.
would
But we're not gonna sit up here on this live and disparage Logic sounds because they sound
Nah,
amazing.
no.
I think
Alchemy is
Logic out
What
of
great.
I'm
all the
saying is
dogs,
Their
they
this.
got
brand
the
is
better. They got
crazy.
the best sound library.
Strings,
No,
horns, and they are
when
ahead
it,
of the
when it
curve because they're digging in and they I see
That's why I
what you're
said they're
saying.
not interested.
They're digging in and they're making their sounds better. That the native instrument sounds, some of them have an edge on Logic. Some of them have an edge on Logic, but Logic
Yeah.
got some dope
that's
sounds,
what
brother.
I'm
Yeah.
okay.
That's why I
Again,
said Logic
if I
isn't.
had
Apple
to
isn't
if
interested.
if it was two mansions side by side and one said native instruments and the other one said Logic, I'm gonna go look in native instruments. I'm gonna see the lights,
Bless you.
I'm gonna see the
Yeah.
glitter, and it's gonna have a little bit probably more to offer me. But what I'm saying, I'm not saying when it comes to just stock sounds, you have to go in and do way more work to the Logic stock sounds than you would in
Maybe
native
you talking about
instruments.
maybe you'd really
Tomato,
digging in with
tomato.
with that stuff because like the newest pianos and the newest joints that they just dropped is actually really good. Like their stuff is as far as the dolls concerned and stock sounds, they eating everybody's lunch on stock sounds. It's just
But
my
this is why
and I
I
think
went.
that's the
This
general
also why I
consensus.
said. This is why I said they should have went to UA first. And the reason why I said UA first is because in Luna they would have won
I
for
agree. Now
sure.
I give you that definitely like it because like they're really lackluster on their sounds. Now they got the organ, they got their Rhodes joint, their piano. I tried their piano joint. It's called Ravel or something. It was trash. They got some other good synth stuff, but like they could do with a UA native partnership would have been really good to see, and still could be good
They
to see
don't want
because
that though.
I don't think,
UA don't want that.
but here's the thing. I don't think they're going anywhere. What I think, and you guys can go back and watch my video that I did last week because I unpacked the documents in there. There's a company called Bridgepoint, and another company called Bain Capital that were in talks. They already had approval for the merger. They had the approval to go ahead and acquire Native. This was back in like November.
23.
And no, in
right?
November of 25.
25. Okay.
They was about to buy it in November. They had already got approval through the EU, like how they got the FCC here when a big merger of big companies. You got to go through FCC and get approved. They got the EU Commission approval to buy Native Instruments. Then weeks later, those talks either fell apart. That's what most people are reporting. They're saying that the talks fell apart, and then Native went into insolvency or preliminary insolvency. But what I think is happening is they looked at that debt. Once they got the approval of the merger, they got access to Native's books. They saw that debt, they saw the profit, they saw that debt to income ratio, and they said,
yeah,
if you want us to buy this, you're gonna have to get rid of this debt. So they said, I bet we're gonna go and we're gonna restructure it. We're gonna get this debt out the way, and then once we get this debt restructured, we get this debt down. You got it. Because in music, nobody else is making a bid for it right now. That's just my perspective.
All right, so John,
I gotta run, guys.
What if
I gotta get ready to get out too?
All right, but let me say this: what if it was something as simple as we don't want to change it from PreSonus 8 to
to whatever.
Then they want to be broke. Then they want to be broke.
They about to go through bankruptcy, so they don't really care about
Yeah.
But that's another conversation for another day, y'all. Listen,
that part, but
all said and done,
all said and done with the Native conversation, even if it's the worst case scenario that everything is all dead and it's all bad, I think it's still going to take years for all of that to unravel and unfold. We're going to be into the 2030s trying to get to this situation. I don't think, even though the situation looks bad, I don't think, even if it falls apart tomorrow, you got it's a ball of yarn. And that ball of yarn is wrapped around an onion. Once you get all the yarn untangled, you got to start peeling back the layers on the onion. So I think even if it all fails, it's going to be years down the line before it becomes like what we call a.
But it ain't going to be no software updates. I tell you that.
Yeah, there would be a point within the next couple of years that you would see software updates stop, and then it would just the operating system would just eventually do it. Yeah, and they would just move on to somewhere else. Right. But it remains to be seen. Good conversation, gentlemen. We're going to pick it back up again tomorrow with something or another. Y'all just won't be privy to this conversation. All of y'all, all 108 of y'all that's watching right now, y'all won't be privy to this conversation. But we enjoy like doing this banner. We had these conversations all day, and we love inviting y'all into FTC. Thank you. Somebody covered. I said FCC. It's FTC. But yeah, we appreciate you guys hanging out.
Commission
I know. I said FCC.
I mean, FCC, that's basketball. That's college sports. What you talking about?
I was thinking, good God Almighty, FTC.
Hey, so can I kick off the closer tonight?
Yeah, kick off the closer, Cheese. You got it.
I was done. I said mine. I'm Kenny. Bye.
I'm gonna say this. John got products. Y'all on John's channels, follow him, buy his products.
Thank you.
I have products. Follow me, buy my products. Kenny, if he ain't got products, he has content of great value. Follow him. And he's
I am the product.
See what I mean? So make sure you guys, when you guys invest in us, and it's one thing, because we love having these conversations. We're taking it up this year. We've had pretty much conversations. I know y'all don't like me getting churchy, but God has his hand on our lives, and it's going up this year. Y'all definitely want to be a part of these conversations and everything that's going on with us. Because we're going to have more offerings for you guys. So tap in with us. Stay locked in. Kenny got something coming up. Kenny got something coming up that I ain't even going to tell you about. You got to go to his Instagram and see.
Please do.
But yeah, tap in with us. We love doing this. This is, you can tell us where our heart is, and we're going to continue to do it. But find ways to continue to support us. Those who have been supporting us, we really appreciate y'all. Y'all
Absolutely.
are the best. Y'all are the dopest. We're gonna be hitting
Yeah.
a lot more of these conferences too, these trade
Oh yeah, for
shows and
sure.
stuff like that. So make sure y'all stay tapped in with us so we can press flesh, so we can shake your hand
Press
and
flesh
talk
is a
shop with you.
wild word.
It's churchy. It's churchy. It's definitely churchy.
Yeah,
That's
we
first
talk
of all,
about
But
me.
that's plausible.
Yeah,
That
no,
that's
is
this
kind of
is
very
churchy.
churchy.
plausible.
It's churchy.
Press
I mean, it's
flesh.
business. It's actually
That's
I
business.
know,
awesome.
It's
right?
business. But tap in with us though, so that we can meet y'all, so we can see the
Churchy
faces behind the
pause.
names, and those again who have been tapped in with us. We love you. We
Yo,
appreciate
Kenny,
you.
give him your IG, bro. Somebody just asked for it. I think it's the Kenny Matthews.
Oh, yeah. The two E's, Kenny Matthews,
Yeah.
KennyMatthews.
Give yours,
Yeah, y'all
Rion
Sheridan.
follow
Hunter,
me.
what up, bro?
Yeah, give yours, Sheridan, so they can follow you.
Oh, it's Sheriden, SHERIDEN _ Shanway, SHANWI. I'm gonna put it in the chats.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Y'all
And
follow my bros for real.
Shanway Music and Tech.
And we hear y'all.
Let, let,
Y'all already
I'm gonna
here,
get
so
my
y'all
I'm gonna get
know.
my yeah, I'm gonna get my close, and it's gonna be real quick. So the overall take from this whole conversation, because we started about 2 hours ago and we just started going
We
down,
3 hours in,
the different
chief.
paths. Yeah, that's crazy.
We
three
just
hours
cracked.
in is no. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, but no, so real quick, again, when you go to them and just be nice, be kind, be regular. Everybody is on even playing ground there. You and the companies are looking at you and you looking at the companies. It's that simple. And other musicians, there is nobody is there on a gig. Everybody is there just to hang out. That was the NAMM situation. When it comes down to the keyboards, do your homework. Know what you want, know what you like. Everything is preference. Everything that we have is preference. John likes. I just found this out about John and Sheridan. I like eating street tacos. They don't
Mm.
like it until it smells good in the car.
Shut up, man.
Hey, we want to tell that story on the next joint. We should have covered that. That was
Hey,
funny.
man, shut up.
I got y'all. Man,
Lastly, this the end. This lastly. Do follow us. Make sure everybody on here got something good to offer, something great to
absolutely.
offer. Shout out to John for the platform. Shout out to Sheridan for our back and forth. But today, him and John was definitely pressing flesh
Ah,
because
hey,
Hey, we
hey,
was
oh,
all
hey.
arguing.
You almost got me
Hey,
full
come
cuss.
on, man.
Hey,
yeah,
come on,
See how
Kenny.
you
we
think?
was
See how
not.
you think
I
something make
I
it?
think I was being nice today. But go ahead, I'm done. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all definitely tap in with us, hit that like button, that share button, drop a comment. Let us know what you really think about it. We have fun with this. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna do this in person soon, so y'all stay tuned. That's one of the reasons why we really are trying to tap in with these conversations. We're building towards something, and we're gonna see y'all out in the wild for real, really soon. Like Keys and Conversations tour would be crazy. So we're gonna try some stuff this year, and I'm excited about it. But all right, folks, that's it. I'm done for real. My food is here. I think Sheridan's food is here. We finna get
Yes,
ready.
sir.
Kenny was eating during the stream, so he ain't hungry. So we'll tap in with y'all later. All right, peace.